Red.
Good evening, afternoon, and morning, wherever and whenever you are. My name's Adrian, your host for tonight's transmission, case file number 2 with the Redacted Roundtable. I'm accompanied, as usual, tonight with my associates, Vaughn and Brandon. How are you boys doing tonight?
Too bad.
Doing good. Can't complain.
All right. Well,
What about you?
I'm doing fine. Happy to be back as usual, keeping things consistent. I like it. It's good to have a little consistency in your life. So,
Yes,
not
sir.
to dilly dally, let's go ahead and jump right into it with what we've been playing. So, to start, I'll just Brandon.
Yeah. Pretty much the same as last week. Battlefield and Batman. Mostly Batman, not gonna lie. Batman's got me in a chokehold. I've been watching nothing but Batman movies. It's been bad. But I just got the last Riddler trophy in Arkham City. So we're on our way out of there. And then I already did all the campaigns and all the what do they call, like the Riddler's Revenge. So all the combat and Predator challenges.
Yeah.
Done. It's all done. So I just got a New Game Plus, beat a little side quest in New Game Plus, and I am out of there. I was considering playing Arkham Origins. I've never touched it. Don't know anything about it. Any opinions on that?
It's I mean, to be honest, I think they didn't really vary away from like the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum gameplay. Like you're to be perfectly honest, if people didn't differentiate between the titles, it, it me personally, I didn't see anything that would really set it apart in a negative fashion. Like it is another Batman game. If you're looking for something of that same vein, that realistically, if you didn't know already, you'd enjoy it. So I would say go
Yeah.
for it. If
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I say as a lifelong Batman fan, I will always encourage anybody to engage in as much Batman media as humanly possible.
Right.
Is that even on a current system, or is that still locked to a PS3 360?
It's locked. It's locked to it, but it's on the streaming service on PlayStation, which the streamings work pretty good for me. I mean,
oh yeah,
I got the God of War Platinum on the streaming, and I don't know if you've ever done those Trials of the Titans or whatever it was. Don't do it. Not fun.
I beat all the God of War games when I was like 12. So and did those. So I feel like I'd go into them already overly prepared for how difficult they were, because back then they were like, I remember spending a lot of time doing those as a young kid, just absolutely ball busting hard. It felt like at the time, and as an adult, it might be worse because when you're a kid, you've got all the time in the world, so you really don't you get irritated, but you don't care. But as an adult, I'm like, I've got limited existence left on this world, and this is draining a good portion of it.
Why is there no hole in this wall? Yeah, because with Batman Arkham Origins, I guess because I know gameplay wise, it didn't change too much. It's a slight iteration. I guess I was in it because over time I've heard that the story is actually really good in that one.
Yeah, it's a solid entry.
Yeah. However, though, I popped on Arkham Knight just for 10 minutes last night just to feel it. And going from Arkham City, because I'm just so deep in it right now, to immediately Arkham Knight, dude, the jump.
It's crazy.
In those games. It's unbelievable how good Arkham. I was like, all right, turning this off because I'll never go back to Arkham City if I start playing this right now. Had to immediately turn this.
And I would recommend, if that's, if you plan on jumping and doing Origins, I would say do Origins directly following City, just because it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah,
You know,
for
in terms
sure.
of that whiplash. And I'm somebody. There are people that can kind of separate themselves immediately. I'm not one of them. I have to take time because I think it'll sour the experience. Like for example, Dark Souls, going from Dark Souls 3, because I did the platinums in 3, and then I acted like I was gonna do 2, and then I went to 1. And as much as I do love Dark Souls 1, you can feel it. So it was one of those things where it's like over time I got more into the motion of doing Dark Souls 1, but there was definitely that sensation of when I'd first jumped back on, I was like, I don't this feels off. It feels rightfully so, like you took a step backwards in gameplay and mechanics, which doesn't make it bad, but it's really hard for me to just jump from essentially an enhanced version of a title back to a more rudimentary playstyle.
I feel it playing Arkham City right now.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable in just the fluidity of the
Mhm.
flying, specifically in the movement. Yeah, I'm probably gonna play Arkham Knight.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not saying don't. I mean, I
there
think
are only 200 Riddler trophies though in Origins, which is very doable. That's all I'm gonna say. It's very doable. I just did 400 and something.
right.
So
I think part of Origins thing too was there was some element of them kind of toning it back, just overall scale wise, and even like fluidity and all that, like mechanically, because of it being on the Wii U.
oh,
So
really on Origins?
mhm. So
Oh, okay.
that
I didn't
was
know that.
that was one of those things where that game, I won't say suffered, but essentially it was they had to kind of tone things back for Nintendo because Nintendo was Nintendo and they refused to catch up. And they have their own thing. We've talked about this before, but yeah,
People
it's
also kind of got butthurt about it taking place before all the other ones because you're given all of these gadgets and uh, techniques of Batman, and then how are you going to explain that in Origins because it takes place before everything else? So people kind of were like, "This is weird to go back this far."
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll have to weigh my options here. I'll
I
buy
think
some Arkham
mean
Knight, but
I
I'm
wouldn't
just in a
hold you to it.
Batman chokehold right now.
Well, you're right, and like I said, lifelong Batman fan. I don't give a shit. You could throw the Super Nintendo Batman games in front of me, and I'll play them. I just love Batman, but
Yeah,
just be aware that it's going to feel like playing Arkham City. So if you're already experiencing that whiplash, just know that it's going to be a similar sensation.
yeah, it'd be like playing Arkham City all over again. Yeah,
Right.
maybe I'll just
Right.
check the story out.
Right.
Because that's really what I'm there for, not so much the gameplay. Because I know like I was saying, the gameplay is, from what I understand, just iterative. It's nothing really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but outside of that, Battlefield is, I think, getting better the more I play it. Getting more comfortable, knowing where people are, knowing the maps. Do you know the name, Vaughn, of that blue map with the mountains? It was in the beta.
Like the half moon shaped one almost,
Yeah,
where we're like,
yeah,
if you're on one side, you're fighting down the mountain.
yeah.
I'd have to look up the names. I'm really bad with that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that map, and then Operation Firestorm have been my two favorites so far. I got some pretty sick gameplay actually that we'll have to B-roll into here. Me and Nate, dude, I was like running around the mountain, and an Apache is coming in. He saw me, I saw him. He started chopper gunnering me. I shot an RPG right as I died, and it hit him, and he boom into a building, blew the building up, and Nate came through, brought me back to life, dude. It was so sick.
Those are the moments. Even when I watched, you sent me those videos of that tank blowing up and the gun turret flying in the air and almost crushing you. It's like, oh my god, this is
so good.
I look forward to getting it. I'm definitely gonna have to pick it up. I should be scooping up some cheddar tomorrow, so
Nice.
I might just partake.
Yeah, and then they got those maps coming out in a few days. I think it's LA and then some kind of like oil rig map, which sounds good to me.
I would look for any
Run it.
reason to blow LA up. Just
Yeah, the
any reason you give me to-
28th, they said, is like the first major patch. A bunch of bug fixes, tweaks to weapons and vehicles and all that fun stuff. So we'll see how everyone freaks out about it.
The meta. Why is it the metaing? Yeah, outside of that, I mean, that's all I've been really doing. And then watching a lot of Batman stuff. Just watched the Dark Knight Returns.
Classic.
And I mean, yeah, we don't got to go on a whole tangent about it, but I definitely want to talk to you guys about that movie. Because I have lots of, like, that's from the 80s, right?
Dark Knight Returns, that's 90s.
Is it the 90s? The Frank Miller one?
Yeah.
That is...
Pretty much Batman went on, like, after the Adam West Batman movie, Batman kind of went on a hiatus until his, essentially, reinvention in the comics. Well, the comics, yeah, essentially his reinvention into the comics, and then like the 90s with the animated series and like the Tim Burton films is where Batman started to get his resurgence, his genuine resurgence in like the overall cultural zeitgeist. So, that's a little Batman tidbit, but it is awesome looking at. I have like every Batman movie ever made except for the Batman. And a couple of the animated ones I don't have, and like the new The Batman movie, and it is genuinely awesome to see, like that the evolution, and then kind of like the refining of the character. Like we don't have to go all the way into it, but just seeing it go from.
Don't threaten me with a good time talking about Batman.
Yeah,
I'll talk Batman till the cows come home.
Yeah, just seeing it go from essentially the golden age Batman to like the Adam West Batman where it was all silly and funny, and then to like a darker Batman, the grittier Batman, more detective focused and more grounded. Then when it got into like the 90s, 2000s, Batman became, for lack, like he was always a superhero, but for like the more superhero-y Batman, he started fighting supervillains and monsters and stuff like that more actively. And then to see like the Robert Pattinson Batman kind of take that back, where it's more detective work, more, because that was always Batman's, his thing. Like his DC stands for Detective Comics, and that Batman was the world's greatest detective. And a lot of Batman stuff kind of got resigned to him going to the Bat Cave, typing some shit on the Bat computer, and then getting all the Bat information that he needed. And it really never showed him doing detective stuff. The closest thing he would do was figure out everything he needed to know back in the Bat Cave, go to where he needed to go to, and then like investigate two things, like, oh, the lock on this door is broken, oh, it's a hair follicle, I have everything I need. It's like, yeah, technically detective work, but like you're not doing anything a regular detective hasn't done or can't do. Like this isn't the world's greatest detective. This is like New York's average detective. That's not, by all means, super awesome that you're doing this stuff, but show me how you earned your accolades. And that one did, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I think the Robert Pattinson one has all the makings to be perfect.
Let's see, we will go down that rabbit hole because
yeah.
So be careful on that. But anything else, Brandon?
No, I'm good. That's pretty much all I've been doing.
Cool. Vaughn?
Pretty much the same with Battlefield. I second all of what Brandon said. It's getting better, ignoring the fact that I am trophy hunting it. So needing to revive like 2,000 people is...
God damn, they want you to play the hell out of that game.
Sucking the life out of my being. but that's one that will just have to come over time. So my impatience needs to take a back seat. A little bit of Yotei still, trying to
Okay.
knock that out. And I picked up the new Katamari game. So I put maybe an hour or two into that. Once Upon a Katamari. So if you know what that game is, it's pretty much that
Let's
game
see,
again.
is it okay? I was just going to ask, is it pretty much the same?
It's so far it's not doing anything crazy different, but for a Katamari game, what do you really want? You're rolling shit up, getting bigger,
Giant ball.
and making Daddy King proud.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all you can do. The
Dude,
weird
that
ass
game
dude.
is so absurd that was definitely at a time where they were just throwing stuff out and having fun with it. Whatever stuck. And
Yep, that one stuck because it
no pun intended.
knew I hate everything. Katamari came out in 2025, which I never expected, but yeah, it's fun. It's
Good.
it's a nice peaceful thing. But other than that, it's just been those three, and eventually I'll get around to Silent Hill in the next 4 playthroughs that I have to do.
Cool.
Did you say 4?
Yeah.
Quattro.
Yeah. So
That's
three
a lot.
3 more, and then I'll have the full story because that's how they did this one.
Like I said, well, before we started, and I wanted to kind of wait. Returnal. By golly, that game has its hooks in me. It is. I bought Gex, by the way. I know I've been saying it for a couple weeks, but I did buy it because I do love Gex. I'm like one of 5 Gex fans. So the fact that that game got a trilogy revival is both confusing and awesome to me. But I haven't got a chance to jump in. I also downloaded Crow Country. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like a RE stuff. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing those. But for the time being, Returnal has my soul. Uh I I love everything about that game as of right now. Obviously there are elements to it that almost require death to happen for you to get the full scope of what's kind of going on. I died the one time during the tutorial. I haven't died since. So I have not been able to engage with those mechanics or like that any plot furthering due to dying. Um I just realized kind of today that I do want to get the platinum, but I have not. I wasn't trophy hunting. Um and it's one of those games where it's like I'm going to have a lot of fun getting trophies. I did get a couple that I think are reasonably difficult / tedious trophies. The one with the 5 parasites and the one to get 200% suit integrity. So just buff your suit. Um, I'm buffed to the gills right now. They just can't kill me. It's a game. It does something that I love about games. It is as much as I am a slave to any RNG based anything. I do have that love for, as I kind of stated when I was talking about playing Space Marine 2 the last time. Um, it's games that reward skill. So it's like that game has those roguelite elements that you can engage with that can either buff or, buff or debuff you. But at the end of the day, skill based gameplay is king. And I have been just washing everything. I died to that first boss with a pistol when I first played the game. And since then, I've just been ripping and tearing everything. I beat the first boss first try, beat the second boss first try. And I haven't died since that one time. And I am just stacked to the gills. I'm unlocking, tons of items for the future. I do look forward to like really sitting down and exploring that game in depth. Um, I've been trying to do like the PlayStation recording stuff. I did get the capture card, but um, I haven't had a chance to really sit down and log because I don't know. I mean, I think I'm being difficult about that whole aspect of things. It's like I kind of want to record long play periods, but I don't have long periods of time to play. So I'm just kind of getting it where I can. Um, yeah, me personally, I maybe it's just because I have a preferred weapon type in a lot of those games, especially that game. I haven't engaged too much with the other weapons, but it does seem like there's almost like balancing issues. I can't say issues because it's a PVE game. You're not it's no verses or anything like that. But it's like any assault rifle esque weapon is just king in that game. Like I picked up the shotgun. It's like the something Spitmaw or something like that, and then I picked up like the rocket launcher. But it's like the whole game I've been playing with an assault rifle. They don't do that thing, which actually made me really love the gameplay in that game because the movement is so fluid. Um, and that's half the fun is just absolutely giving them the business. Um, it doesn't do that thing where you have to ADS, aim down the sights to be accurate. You're just as accurate if you're hip firing. So like I obviously the reticle comes up, but it's like I have a pretty good idea of center of the screen, so I don't need to ADS. Plus, so it eliminates the need for me because it has the haptics full pull, half pull for the alternate fire. So like if you half pull the trigger, you're ADSing. If you full pull it, you use your alternate fire. So as I'm playing, it's just perfectly fluid where I'm shooting. I never touch that, and then I just click it in, and it fires off my alt fire. I never have to because at first I was like trying to ADS, and I was like, wait, the accuracy of my weapon is not dependent on that. And that is something I do hate in a lot of games, which I get it, I guess, in FPSs, but like I hate when games are like, if you're not looking down the reticle, the bullets know. The bullets know. It's like you're not looking down your sight, that fucking round will go left, just a straight 90-degree turn. It's like it's a gun. Technically speaking, even if I'm not looking down the sight, shit, my eyes could be closed. If it's lined up properly, that bullet should go to the same place. Technically, like in FPSs, it makes sense because it's like you're supposed to be shouldering your weapon, which would make it more accurate. It's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I just hate games that do that where it's like, well, you're not ADSing, so your bullets are going everywhere but where they need to. Yeah, it's silly. It's a silly thing. And especially for a game like that, which, like I said, they didn't do it. A game like that that's supposed to be high speed. I will say some of that stuff, it's not like by all means, it is technically fair, but some of those attacks are like trying to gauge where they're at in three-dimensional space. Like when they're doing like any move that's launching like 1,000 orbs at you, I'm like, I don't know where I am. Like it's like here,
visually overwhelming, and
right? And I'm like, I'll charge right into one
purposefully too. But at the same time, that game is really good about, and it's a weird comparison, but it's similar to Tetris in that you can get into this Zen mode of where you're just not even thinking about what you're doing, and you're just doing it, and then all of a sudden, everything's dead, and you're going around and collecting the remnants of what you need, and then moving on. And it's really good about repeating that and you getting stronger, and then them putting new obstacles in your way that are just tough enough to get you sweating, and then it repeats the cycle in a literal and figurative way. And it's real good. That game is real good.
Oh yeah, no, it's got its claws deep in me, and I that what exactly what you're saying is where I'm at almost permanently now, where it's like, the moment anything exists that I don't wish to be existing, I just fall into like a combat trance, and it is just time to rip and tear. Like the second boss, just absolutely obliterated that boss. Just like the first one, gave me a run for my money. I think I was still kind of just nothing had really given me a challenge that required me to, show any kind of real effort or initiative. But by the time I got to that second boss, it was just absolutely eviscerating.
That first boss is a big difficulty spike, at least for normal people. That a lot of people drop off from that, and Based on the trophy percentage, you'll see that a lot of people just didn't get past that first boss.
Really?
Yeah, it's a spike.
Foul tarnished.
Man, that's which I get. I mean, I get, but I don't get. I like a challenge. You know, I play plenty of games. Like I'm a huge fan of. I just bought the Gex trilogy. I'm a huge fan of games that are for palate cleansing. You play the game. I don't want to get punished. You know, I say it all the time. It's like I'm playing XCOM and Elden Ring and all these other games that are just like absolutely punishing. I'm like, am I having fun right now, or am I just like so? And I do have fun with those games regularly, but you know, there's a time and a place, and when you got a bunch of stuff going on, both in the game and in your actual personal existence, you're like, you know what, maybe I'll say it, dude. Play Cat Lateral Damage. It's one of my favorite games ever, dude.
Mhm.
It's a cat smacking shit off a shelf, dude. I love that game. I got the platinum in that game. That game's got VR. I'd play that game in VR. I would absolutely would play that game in VR. But it's just a little bit of catharsis. But Returnal definitely hits that sweet spot for me.
Oh yeah.
Where and like I said, I haven't died yet, so which leads me to believe it really is that it really just fits into that sweet spot where it's like it gives me challenge, but not in a sense that not enough so that would make me uh not want to play it. Like if I was already stressed out from a day, I could probably still pick up Returnal and have a good time and not be like, I don't want to do this. It's not like picking up, like a
Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Shadow of the Earth Tree. We spoke about it last time. That has its issues in itself. But yes, that's exactly what I was actually thinking. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, it's not like that where it's like, let's fucking grind this out, try to grind one more boss out, work our way towards the finish line on this thing. And it certainly isn't Dark Souls 2, where I'm like, let's find who made this game, punish him severely. This man has wronged me.
Dark Souls 2 is forever going to take strays.
Dude, I can't not shoot. I can't not fire one its way, dude. It
deserves it. Have you seen anything on their next game, Soros?
Mm-mm.
It's basically Returnal, but it's based around the sun and eclipses, and seems like it has like a shadows die twice kind of thing going on, where you resurrect and you come back even stronger, and then it's like hyper aggression.
So they're working on that and that the Switch title simultaneously.
No, I'm sorry. This is a Returnal sequel.
Oh, okay.
Housemarque.
Housemarque.
Yeah, I was drawing a blank on the developer. Yeah, it looks sick. They wrote a blank check for that one.
Oh no, dude! Really playing Returnal, I'd give them I'd write as much blank checks as those people wanted. They're absolutely cooking.
I like Housemarque. I like Housemarque a lot. What's a Resogun? I platinumed Resogun. That game rules. That was like my favorite PS4 game for years.
The movement in it reminds me a lot of Control.
Mm-hmm.
Very fluid, very smooth. It's not ridiculous to the point where it's like, because there's a lot of games I find, and obviously the point of any game is you want to get stronger and stronger and stronger, but I find a lot of games get broken with the movement. And by that, I mean just kind of your movement evolves to a level where you no longer really have to fear getting hit by anything if you're, attentive at all. And I do love this game. Absolutely love this game, but it's like Symphony of the Night is one of those games where it's like by the end of the game, you have so many options for not getting hit that it damn near doesn't make any sense to ever get hit ever. And it does, which I don't mind. I love that game. But it's like a lot of games. Yeah, literally Death Mist, or you can use the
bat.
Yeah, or the hippogriff, or it's a different item in every game. It's stone wing, hippogriff wing, but essentially where you shoot straight up in the air, and if you just spam the button, you can just ride the ceiling. Nothing can ever touch you. So you just run.
the boots, like the moon
Yeah,
boots or whatever.
they're different. They're different
Yeah.
in every game. I know. I forget which one it is Stone Wing, and I just always thought that
Mhm.
sounded cool. So, yeah, Stone Wing, you could just pretty much just jump and then you just slam into the ceiling repeatedly, and then turn into mist, float out of the room, repeat. Like if you're running through the castle at that point in the game, you're max level, so it doesn't matter. So like I'm not going to kill anything because there's no point in doing that. But I know but that's my point. A lot of games do suffer for that, and they don't have what Symphony of the Night has to make it that. It's like your game's a solid game, but if by the second boss my movement is so off the charts that I it's like I'm playing a whole different game. I can appreciate that you gave me those options, but unless it's some games are meant to be broken, and some games suffer from being able to be broken too easily.
Mhm.
And I think Returnal has that balance where it's like I feel tough. I feel big tough in that game. Absolutely. Like I said, I have the 200 plus integrity, so I have double a health bar already. I have a bunch of damage reduction from getting hit. Um, a bunch of damage addition, bunch of gain health from killing, shields from picking up resin. Just a real go getter. But I still feel like there's been a couple times where they caught me lacking and slacking, and I almost got sent back, and it was almost real rough for me for a second. And I was like, I'm gonna be real salty if I got to start over again right now because I'm a dumbass who got too big for his britches, and someone humbled my ass because that game, a couple of them attacks will put your ass in the dirt, 200 health bar or not, and will
Yep.
sit you down.
Yeah, a lot of their games are really good about that balance you were talking about because they did Detonation, they did Super Stardust HD.
Oh, did they do Detonation?
Yep. They did
Yeah,
Alienation,
Alienation.
Yeah.
Resogun, like Brandon said. I was obsessed with Super Stardust when it first came out. Like that's a score chasey game though. I had people at work at the time that were like, "I got X score." I'm like, "Just wait till I get home." Uh, you mess with the wrong person, bro, and it would happen every time. So yeah, their games are really good about that balance, and they're just I don't think anyone is at their level with the twin stick element. No one's really doing it though, so I guess they're kind of only battling themselves. But
It's one of those genres I feel is super underappreciated for sure.
yeah,
I feel like Metroidvania kind of fell in that for a while where people were doing them, but people really weren't like giving them the love and attention. And then we've recently seen a huge resurgence in genuine high quality Metroidvania titles. But Twin Stick has always been like since they put two sticks on a controller, Twin Sticks was I was playing arcade cabinets. I remember I went to a LAN tournament back when they used to do them all the time with Stretch in Chicago, and I won a tournament for playing. It's an old game. It's called Robotron, um, old '80s game, and it's just on the arcade cabinet. But ever since I was a kid, those were some of my favorite games. Just I don't know. I feel like a lot of people lack the hand-eye coordination to just look and then do stuff and like accurately be able to hit it. I don't know. So
Yeah, that's what makes Path of Exile 2 so good. That it's just a twin stick shooter. It's
mm,
very you can literally pick a character that has a crossbow, but it shoots like a machine gun or a shotgun or whatever you perk out into. It's just pretty cool. On a excuse me, on a random side note, when you said stone wings, it made me think of in Elden Ring how there's a spell called Frozen Lightning. It's just complete contradiction. Like, how are you
right.
stone wings and frozen, like frozen energy? Like, what does that even mean?
See, the way I look at it is like gargoyle wings. It's like they can generate enough force to get you off the ground, but they cannot keep you in the air,
Yeah,
which is
they're
literally
coming
what
down
that is.
hot.
Your guy shoots straight up in the air, and he does not stay there. But you can just do it again mid-air, so you really can just fly.
Yeah.
I love that game. They also do like when you hit the ceiling, it like shakes the screen, so it's literally just boosh, doosh, 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 doosh,
Yeah.
just rattling the whole
It's real
castle.
satisfying.
Dracula's up there, like, what the fuck are they doing down there?
He's Shaking.
Who put boots on my ceiling?
Yeah, right.
But that is it for me. I have, like I said, I got Crow Country and Gex waiting in the wings, and I will probably finish Returnal tonight in terms of just an initial playthrough. I mean, I don't know how long the game is. I might not. Who fucking knows? I have no clue. I don't want to know.
Did you get to the boss? I don't want to spoil it in case you didn't get to it.
I'm at the capital right now, so I fought the first boss in the dirty puddle, and then I fought like the crow boss on the mountains, and then I just got to the citadel. I'm fighting all these robots.
The music. Did you fight?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll say no more.
I forgot about that. That is that's an experience.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil that one for you. That's one for the books. I watched Jordan do that and was like, oh, I'm sleeping on this game. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's that. I'm thoroughly satisfied with this game. It's definitely one of those games that really just rekindles the spirit, the gaming spirit. Where you're like, okay, people are certainly out here still making worthwhile experiences. Not that I thought they weren't, but it was just it's a game that I could see myself being perfectly satisfied doing a handful of playthroughs, and even playing with other weapons, even if like there was I haven't even really looked at the trophy list, but if it was like gain maximum proficiency in all these weapons or whatever, it's like I would more than happy to play through that game with a pistol just to do it, try out different weapons. Right now I'm too far in, too deep, and it's like I'm not willing to die or risk death, so I am sticking to, I think it's like, I mean, there's like the carbine, and then there's like the hollow something or another, which is just like an alien machine gun. And it's like those two weapons are melting everything. I picked up the rocket launcher, and it's like I'm just not getting enough DPS. It's one of those things. It's like, would I rather shoot one bullet that does 100 damage per 2 seconds, or another that shoots 8 bullets a second and they all do 20 damage? It's like I'm doing more damage ultimately with that machine gun, and I have more rounds, and I have to reload less, and I have less time between shots. So I'm going to go with that, which is, fine. The other weapons, there's nothing wrong with the other weapons, but as of right now, for my current playthrough, where I definitely want to keep on going because I've got a lot of stuff on the line essentially. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep with that system that I got going now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then if I manage to get to the end next time around, I'll get a little more spicy with it. We'll play with a little more weapons.
Last thing on Returnal, real quick, is Housemarque. I like the direction they're going in because they're doing such a healthy blend of arcadey gameplay with cinematic storytelling. I'm always going to be, gameplay is king. And I like how, that moment pretty early in the game when you're walking and she sees her house, and then it kind of turns into a little Metroidvania where you find the key. You don't have to go back. You don't have to engage with all that stuff, but you can go back, and then the Lovecraftian story kind of starts looping. And I just think it's pretty cool. I dig that side of it. And Soros looks like it's taking it even further.
Yeah. No, I look I look forward to it. I've been only playing sporadically, like an hour, 2 hour bursts. So I think tonight I'm gonna break out the old bib and binge me some Returnal. So really enjoy myself with that. So
cool.
But yeah, that's it for me. So are we ready to hop into some of these hot tops?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
Okay. All right. So for first question, I believe this is Brandino Bambinos. What aspect of games draws you in to a specific game the most? Is it art direction, lore, characters, mood, animation, or maybe just being a game that's a little bit outside of the box. This is all obviously, or not obviously, but this is all within the context of gameplay always being king. Well, at least within the three of us, that's always the biggest thing. Gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. I would rather have a fun game with 2 pixels and, minimal any kind of story than a game that's full of story that plays like crap or looks really good that plays like crap. So, what aspects of games draws you in? You could pick a specific game or a few games as an example.
Yeah, I can start. This question kind of popped in my head because I was thinking of Shinobi again.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that trailer of Shinobi, I've never even heard of it. And that trailer came up and I was jaw on the floor at how it looked and the way it was animated. So I was thinking, like, for me, outside of, like you were saying, gameplay, if a game has cool animations and a cool art direction, you're probably going to get me. I'm a sucker for animations. Monster Hunter, Devil May Cry, any Capcom game, Dragon's Dogma, the Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, when animations have fluidity and weight to them, even Sekiro, man, that goes a long, long way for me. Long, long way. And then art direction as well, because I'm thinking of Forgive Me, Father. That got me really, really bad. I saw one frame of that and put that right into my checkout list. I was like, say no more. I'm in. A good Lovecraftian style or a good horror style, like Bloodborne. Bloodborne's probably one of the best looking games ever, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Just artistically, it's out of this world. Even just playing the Arkham games, I love how timeless those games look because of the art style.
Yeah.
That it's comic booky but realistic, and specifically Arkham Knight and Arkham Asylum, or really Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight blows my mind because I don't know if I've ever seen a game hit such a perfect balance between it doesn't look real, but it looks real.
Right.
He looks realistic, but he's exaggerated. Just where it's like he could fit into a comic, but it's like, dang, this looks really good at the same time.
There's enough real world stuff that it's like
you're playing as a ninja bodybuilder.
It makes sense, but you're still taken out of it because it's fucking Batman.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Which I didn't really. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the kind of stuff that makes other elements of the game work too, in my opinion. So it's like I said, you're a ninja bodybuilder, but it's done in a way that, like you said, it's realistic enough. But like the combat, for example, that wouldn't work with an ultra realistic. Watching Batman flip genuinely 20 feet across, when it's like the last guy and you attack him and he's like, whoa, it's like that wouldn't work if it was overly realistic. It would just look absolutely ridiculous. Whereas like it still manages to, even though it is kind of a little ridiculous, it still does manage to look cool in that game because they don't go overboard with trying to hit you over the head with realism.
I always thought Arkham, this is just such a random little side note, but I always thought Arkham Knight's art style would work so well for For Honor. For Honor struggles so deeply because For Honor looks realistic, but they had to start catering to all the ridiculous skins and whatever. And I was always thinking, if you just did an Arkham Knight-esque art style where if somebody wants to spec out and look realistic, they can, and if somebody wants to look anime, they can, and you could have this perfect where it blends well together. But yeah. Animation and art direction or art style, however you would put it, those things I'm deep old sucker for. Pretty bad.
One.
This one, I can't disagree with Brandon's point because that stuff also gets me. And of course, in an ideal world, it would be every single aspect of that would pull us in. But that's like a fucking unicorn out there, if it ever happens. I think it depends on the game for me. Things like the Nier series, when that trailer first came out, that music is the first thing that really got me. Like the original Nier was just like a basic Square Enix JRPG, and then that music started playing, and I'm like, you got me. Like I have to get this game. Like I have to hear the soundtrack. Uh, and it met those expectations. And the gameplay isn't the best in that first one, but it's serviceable. But it still got me. So and then there's things like the Mega Man Battle Network series that came out on the Game Boy Advance. That was mainly gameplay and tech driven. It was also kind of mixed with the whole Pokemon era where like you're collecting all these little battleships and
I remember that.
you're building your own like deck to fight things on the net. So it had that element to it, but it was mainly the Mega Man universe mixed with this weird Pokemon card esque combination that I had just never seen before. So that's the part that got me. And then the music turned out to be really good, and the story turned out to be really good. So it kind of evolved over time for me. And then there's Last of Us, which uh, that was mainly a developer thing at first because we had really only known about Naughty Dog from their past games, and this is something that they had never done before. This super mature story, and then the trailer came out, and the music and the premise, and then that kind of all just folded together, and it was a masterpiece. And in the same vein as Naughty Dog, when Uncharted One was first announced, that one really got me because that was also something that you had just never seen from Naughty Dog before, and it was doing tech like on the PS3 because it was Uncharted One. Uncharted One wasn't a launch PS3 game, but it was early on in the PS3 life cycle, and it was just doing stuff that we had not seen on the PS2, like Nate going in water, and where the water was on his clothes is where it was wet. I'm like, what is going on? Like
Right.
that isn't possible. And then it turned out to be like a Indiana Jones style story, really good voice acting, really good story, and it kind of just all again melted together for me. So it, like I said, it really depends on the game at the time. Like it could be anything for me at first, and then it kind of unfolds from there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I uh you know, it's not uncommon, but I think we're all pretty much in agreement with I agree with both of you on pretty much all of it. Um I do personally believe like art, like the actual way the game is drawn, um and the art direction of a game is always going to be big with me, period. Uh when it obviously after gameplay, I there's and I want to point out an example of a game that is the it falls in the negative category, and it's a shame because the game itself is something that I do enjoy. There's two of them. It's you've heard of Sultan Sanctuary, Sultan Sacrifice. I like those games. I like, they're almost Souls esque premise, 2D side, 2D, almost Metroidvania esque type of deal. I just think they're so ugly.
Salt and Sanctuary looks like a Newgrounds game,
It
and
is, yes, it
it
is so
insults my
ugly,
eyes.
dude.
I
It
platinumed
is,
it because I hate myself, but that
dude.
game looks like hot dog water.
Yeah, I see it, and I'm like, you know what? I want to play these games. I do. I genuinely do, but they are so heinous looking. I'm like, I can't. I don't want to. Like you said, it's like assaulting my eyes, and I'm like, I would. I'm sure I would like everything about this game, and that's where it's like on the list of things like lore. It's like, from my understanding, that game does technically have like decent lore. Like there is a overall premise. The world has like everything is explained, like it has lore, but it's just I don't want to engage with that game because that game is fucking hideous. Um, So that's I just wanted because we're pointing out positives, games that do it. I just wanted to point out a game that is why that's so important for me, or an example of a game where it's like it can be to a degree where it's we talked about it last time. I know I know what I would like and don't like at this point for the most part, and I know I would like that. I know I would be into that. I just can't get into it because it looks like shit. It just looks so bad. Which I get that's like their signature look because I remember buying I forget what it's called, something vampire or something or another. It's like an old game that they had on the 360 when they were like first started dropping games. And that game was sweet. Like the combat in the game was super fun. I remember you had like there was a sword that let you teleport around and smack people up in the air and the movement was really good. It's just that was a product of the time and then it just never evolved. It never got better. It never improved in that sense. Um, so I just was like, I can't really, I don't really want to engage with this. And then like character design, I think is huge for me. Um, and because I'm like, in Vaughn's entirely right. Like it is based on the game for sure. Will kind of dictate what falls where, but like I'm a huge proponent even in fighting games. I tell people, pick the character you like or you think looks cool because you, for me it's like I'll have fun playing with this character even if I get my ass whooped because I just like this character. I think they're fun. I don't care if they're low tier or whatever it's like Smash. I love playing Smash and I got good at playing low tier heavy characters because I just fucking like them. And obviously I know them. They're Nintendo products, so it's not like a game that I'm playing that it's like a new IP. But even that, it's like I'll play games and I don't care about the tier. I care about the character I think is cool, looks cool, and it makes me want to learn that character and get better with that character. And then games like um, Streets of Rage, Final Fight, stuff like that, where it's like those characters do exist outside of that bubble. They exist in their, King of Fighters and Street Fighter and stuff like that outside of their individual games. Seeing those characters, that's an example of like if a character's got a cool design, it might draw me into the lore of it. So like using Final Fight as an example, Cody from Final Fight, that got me into learning about looking into the character Cody. And then that's when I realized, oh shit, he's part of like that's part of Street Fighter universe. Like they are, he is a that's all taking place in the same world. And then I get to learning about the lore of the city, Mike Haggard, the super mayor. It's like you learn it's a lot deeper than just a couple guys beating up bad guys. It's like
Capcom does that pretty well.
yeah,
You'll see
yeah.
that a lot.
So it is one of those things where art direction and in certain cases just character design within that because it's like you could have a cool art direction but have your characters be bland. It's like make a game that's got a Japanese aesthetic, which is your art direction. But if everybody's generic samurai guy, number 47, I don't really care. But you give me like a badass samurai with sweet like Oni armor and a dragon sword. I'm like, okay, I don't know who that guy is, but I want to know more about that guy. I want to know what's his deal. What's he doing? Why is he look so sick? What's going on here?
Yeah, there's a character in Guilty Gear.
All the characters in Guilty Gear look super fucking cool, and I'm into the lore of Guilty Gear because of that.
Yeah, I bought Guilty Gear because of the vampire samurai guy.
Oh yeah, he's a newer character. Yeah, the black dude.
He's so sick, and he's got like the rabbit mask that's like robotic. I'm like, oh man, dude, you're cool. I bought the game for him.
That's exactly what I thought about when I was talking about picking. Which I guess he's a high tier character, but I always I always like Potemkin, the big ass dude.
Oh yeah, the big robot Iron Giant guy.
Yeah, I always liked him, and I was like, I couldn't play with him, but I guess like now he's a higher tier character. But that's a perfect example. It's like that game, the character, because I had that game I had Guilty Gear X on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh wow, okay.
All the designs of all those characters are so fucking cool. Even there are some people that don't like to play female characters. It's like I feel like even like the female characters in that game were fucking sick, dude. They were all cool. Like May, the chick with the anchor, and some of it, it's just
Yeah,
ridiculous,
she is
dude.
cool.
Yeah, it's yeah.
What's
The whole
what's the
game.
one guy who has like the venom shadowy monster on him? He's got the
Oh,
long hair.
yeah, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head. But
He's
he's
pretty cool.
he's the lore. His lore is super dark, super.
Oh
cool.
yeah, I bet.
Everybody in that. I went on a binge of watching because I watched the. Uh, Guilty Gear had like a short anime run, and it was. I was like, okay, these characters. Like when then you find out like Soul Bad Guy is actually obviously the good guy, and he at damn near any point in time could just be a weapon of planetary destruction. And it's like, oh, he's a way cooler character than generic tough guy, you know, riding a motorcycle, being too cool for school, looking like futuristic Terry Bogard. It's like, oh no, he's got depth to him. It's. I think that game's like a perfect example of that, where it's like they did a good job on the lore, but I would have never been drawn into the lore had the character design not been so good.
Yeah, that's interesting because it goes to what Vaughn was saying and what you're saying, where one thing can get you in and then it starts to snowball.
Which is the ideally. And
yeah,
needless to say, Guilty Gear is one of the big dogs in the fighting game community. So, going back to gameplay is always king. That they would have never got to the point where anybody gave a shit what any of that was about. If they got that, they locked that down. Then they locked down their art direction. Then they really started to cook on these characters because original Guilty Gear, as with any fighting game, had a relatively limited roster. The character designs were cool, but it's like seeing the characters they're coming up with now and the different designs and just the different things and making it all fit within that world is really, really good. And I'm happy that game has endured.
Yeah, they're adding the chick from the Cyberpunk anime into Guilty Gear
Rebecca?
Strive.
Really?
Yeah.
Rebecca, the robot?
The robot chick?
Android, whatever.
Yeah,
Rebecca.
Yeah, she's
got green hair.
Cool. That fits really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also thinking of just mood. Mood can get me in a game. And if it's something, and when I say mood, like a good example would be, I think, bear with me, it might be a hot take. I think 80% of Fallout's charm is its mood.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Like that vibe and that it's the post-apocalyptic, blah, blah, blah. You know what Fallout is, but almost a coziness to it, even though it's not supposed to be cozy.
Right.
Such a strange thing, or Bioshock Infinite specifically. There's a coziness, even though it's not cozy.
Racism.
Weird. Yeah.
I mean, what's cozier? What's cozier than it's an old American pastime, brother.
Religious zealot nationalist. they are on crazy stuff in Infinite, but I mean that's like the light work compared to the interdimensional travel. Like,
yeah, there's bigger things to deal with. That we'll get back to what you just called me in a minute, but
yeah. But is there a robotic bird flying through the sky?
Yeah. But I think that all ties back into exactly what Vaughn said, and I think Fallout's actually a really great example when it comes to that kind of thing, where it's like you're right, and Fallout's gameplay is not bad, but it's serviceable. It's nothing that I haven't seen before. But it is solid. I know Bethesda has bugs, whatever, but I mean, it's not game breaking. It's the Bethesda bugs, the kind of stuff you see all the time, and the games run just fine. But I mean, it does have that game's got good lore. There's really no character designs I would call, standoutish.
With their characters in Fallout.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you a single fucking character besides fucking Preston. But that's just
Skin got a cigarette. I'm blowing up Megaton now.
Too busy watching their heads rotate on their neck half the time.
Oh, dude,
that stuff was more acceptable when I was a kid. Now it's just we're in like a post Witcher 3, post every great game that's come out since then. I just, on a side note, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be the life or death of Bethesda, I think, but that's neither here nor there.
I get what you're saying with that. Like playing like I'm partially through a Fallout 4 playthrough. I started that like, and it wasn't like that was one of those ones where I was trying to just kind of find something to play that didn't require any effort.
Okay, never mind then. I was going to say, play it on survival. That's how it's actually supposed to be played. I know that sounds crazy.
You do that, you say that, and I don't know why you want to hurt yourself.
I know.
You also play games on like hard, and you're like, that's how it is. But like literally in the difficulty selector, it's like normal mode, how the game's intended to be played. You're like, no, I swear to God, dude.
No, dude.
Turn the HUD off, put it on the hardest difficulty, play facing the wall.
Right. Put it in black and white mode. It's like you are not. I'm listening. I'm gonna hear you out. But
with Fallout, I got that when it came out, and it felt like there was something just deeply missing from it because the game is incentivizing you to set up trade routes, to set up these little houses for you to have supplies and blah, 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 blah. And there's these beds everywhere for you to sleep in and rest. You put it in survival mode. It is still a little too hard, but the structure of all of the elements that are in the game are actually useful opposed to being optional. Like now you're actually setting up, okay, I'm going to put a trade route here. So that way when I stop here to do this mission, I'll restock up and then I can hit this. And then the game starts building out a network all over Boston, opposed to it just being effectively a Fallout 3 reskin.
Which I get what you're saying.
It just adds a little more to it. I'm not saying that it's 10 out of 10 because of it by any stretch.
My thing is, I feel like, and I haven't played on survival mode, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how. I feel like Fallout isn't really designed for that. Like that's like a sim, more of a sim type of thing, and I could see that in a game like maybe Stalker, where it's like more realistic damage, I guess you would say. So it's like I'm scrounging for rounds, but it also doesn't take me 10 to 15 rounds to put someone down. So where it's like a game like Fallout, I don't know, does that change when you're doing survival, or is it still like basic Fallout gameplay?
You do more damage. They do more damage and you do more damage, and you do have to do all the stuff you're saying. You do got to eat, you got to drink, you got to do that stuff.
Because if you're adding realism into the mix, it's like all of it has to be balanced, or I don't want it. It's like any game that not even realism, but it's like any game that ups difficulty, and they're just like everybody's stronger, you're weaker, and there's no upside to it. It's just more difficult because we made it shittier.
Right. I wouldn't say it's doing that. I probably have maybe like an 80-hour playthrough in Survivor, which is enough, but it's not hundreds of hours or whatever. But it's cool because if you start perking out into criticals and headshots and like you can perk out into blowing people's knees out. Now they're limping. So now you can just slow them down and evade them. So it just starts opening up new tactics that you don't normally think about when you're zoned out in Fallout, just bloody messing everybody.
Well, and I my thing, and that's kind of my.
But I get it for sure.
My outlook on it. No, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's just I don't feel like those games are. I don't feel like those games are designed overall, like in their conception for that. Like I feel like almost stuff like that is tacked on when it comes to Fallout, because none of the rest of the game kind of facilitates that. Like you can still do, essentially sneak builds and shit like that. It's like if a game's going to have survival elements, I more or less want you to force me into them. Like if it's not integrated enough in the game where it's a necessity, like, yeah, it's a necessity for you to eat and drink water, but it's like if I spec into the right things and get water and food, I can really just play Fallout, but I have to drink water and food every once in a while. Like, I don't the best way I could describe it is like, I don't feel like the rest of the game is designed around that. I feel like it makes sense for that to be put in the game, but the rest of the game isn't made for that. Just with like you walk into a building and there's like 80 people in there, and it's really going to come down to the same stuff.
I'm a professional Bethesda hater, so I'll say it. If you have to do that for a game to be more enjoyable, I think they're doing something wrong. And there's no 100. Yeah, that song is great.
Oh, dude, the Dio Brando hater. Love that song.
Not to say that doing that is bad. Like, I want anyone that plays that game to have the fun that they want. But Bethesda's really good about ruining my happiness with any game that they put out. And I played that game. Like, I platinumed that game purely fueled by hate. And like,
oh, I got an opinion on it.
Yeah,
I want all my hate to be completely valid.
Because I wasn't gonna be that guy that was like, this game looks like trash, and then people go like, did you play it though? And I'd be like, no. Like, yeah, I played it. That fucking sucks. Look at my profile. Yeah, I played that game all the way through, and it was pretty much Fallout 3 with a slightly better texture pack thrown on top, and even then it wasn't that good of a texture pack. I don't know. I'm in the camp of like, they need to really like step it up at some point, and Starfield wasn't that.
I didn't even play Starfield. I didn't have any like particular opinions on it. It just felt like Bethesda's doing Bethesda in space.
It's gonna come to PlayStation at some point, and I will definitely not play it. So I will wait for someone else to play it and talk about it.
I'll play it when it comes to.
I'll play it.
I'll be the one that plays it. I heard the gunplay is not special. I'm not getting my.
It's
hopes
better.
up.
Yeah, I heard it's better.
Which, because I'm not someone that uses fucking VATS or anything like that in any of the Fallout games. Like, I can shoot, so I don't use that shit.
That game came out in a post No Man's Sky world, and it's a travesty that there's still loading screens breaking up different things. Like, how dare you?
There's no like, that game is irrelevant because of No Man's Sky. That's why I won't play it. It's offering me absolutely nothing. No Man's Sky is the superior version in all aspects.
It limits your spaceship building size, which at some point every game has a limit. So that's not like a major bullet point, but the limit on the size of your ship is so small compared to what you want to do that it's insulting. It's just, they're very much in the Call of Duty realm where like, you're so comfortable in this engine. Like, I understand why you want to stick with it. Like, you can squeeze out little bits of excellence here or there with each new release, but the amount that you're squeezing out isn't worth me taking a sip. And it's insane that they're sticking with this engine when there are things like No Man's Sky out there that's doing a whole galaxy with planets that no one will ever see all of them in, and you want me to invest time in your Lego block world? No thanks. I'll do something else.
No, and I can get behind that. I'm
professional hater of Bethesda at your service.
Well, I mean, as you guys know, I'm kind
of right there with you, if I'm being honest.
I'm a super pro-consumer person, and I can give, I can be biased if I feel like it. So, anybody that bitches about FromSoft stuff can suck me from the back. But, yeah, when you don't change your formula at all and you're running the same outdated, shitty engine and have been for like decades at this point, there's going to start to be a level of animosity, which is kind of like why I didn't feel anything that I couldn't play Starfield. I was like, I don't care. Like, I actually, technically I could, like my PC could, my laptop, whatever, can 100% run Starfield. I just had no inclination to do it. You have no goodwill. I mean, let's be honest here.
Dog, they haven't done nothing in 14 years. Let's be a buck.
Bethesda started, for the most part, I obviously you can't pin anything 100% on anybody. But Bethesda pretty much kicked off anti-consumer microtransactions.
With the horse
Yeah,
armor.
yeah. So that was before I realized how fucking shitty that was. And ever since I've become a radically pro-consumer person, I realized they have not done shit for anybody. And then Bethesda tried to monetize mods that other people made. Um, so they're on my shit list for like a multitude of reasons that have nothing to do with the subpar quality of game making. Because I beat Fallout 4 a long time ago. I beat Fallout 4 when I had my Xbox. So like me doing this playthrough of Fallout 4 was just like, Fallout is a game because I platinum Skyrim. So it's like I have it. Not that I was looking for Bethesda. I was looking for games turn your brain off, just kind of do shit games. And Fallout 4 fell right into that slot. And so it's like I just was just going through it, figured I'd grab the platinum, blow some stuff up, jib a bunch of people. But yeah, Bethesda has over time I realized they don't give a shit. And at times are actively, I would say, hostile to the consumer base.
They're sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
They're serial re-releasers, and
Yeah.
Fallout Day is a prime example of that. They're re-releasing Fallout 4 in New Vegas. Like, get out of my face. Like,
Yeah.
See, what you guys don't understand about Bethesda is that
bam, right in the mouth.
Dude,
get away from me, kid.
It's like I want by all means, I want those games to be awesome. I would love to see Bethesda. I would love to see every studio just constantly progress. And, even I wouldn't even care if they hit like if they cornered the market essentially. If there was a top dog in a certain genre and you just did your thing and kept doing your thing, made small changes like FromSoft does, and but you have a working solid model and you are generally speaking pro-consumer. You give everybody, when I say content, it's like you give everybody the content, sufficient for the amount of what you're charging for your product. And when I say content, I don't mean Fallout 4 reused or Fallout period, just reuse reskinned areas and the same shit
Reused
over
edition.
and over. Right. It's all like even within the game. And I'm not even saying like the remasters and stuff. It's like even in the fucking game, it's the same shit over and over again, dude. It's like you guys genuinely don't give a damn. And if you don't care, then why should I care? It's really what it comes down to with them. It's like if you don't care, why should I? You aren't doing anything special. You just aren't. Like it's not debatable. You're not doing anything somebody else hasn't already done. What is it? The Outer Worlds? They came through and they did Bethesda better than Bethesda did.
Yeah. The second one is doing a cool feature where you can get negative perks based on what you're doing. Like if you're crouching a lot, like you could get a perk that's like your knees will crack when you crouch down and it could notify enemies around, but you can move faster when you're crouched. So they're doing like cool things based on what you're doing in the world. Yeah. It's like, okay. Or if you rush through dialogue, it'll permanently put a timer on each dialogue choice. So you have to make a choice within a time limit or it auto picks something. So like them evolving the traditional Bethesda RPG, you're going to win a bunch of people over. But if you're going to do the same shit over and over again, get out of here. You're not getting my money. And
these, go ahead.
I was going to say my final point on that is using the same engine. I dislike the gaming community most times, but they do have moments, and they always catch a developer reusing an engine for way too long. It happened with Madden. It happened with Call of Duty. It's taking a long time for it to happen with Bethesda, but I think after Starfield, it finally got there, and people are realizing like you need to do something different because this is asinine at this point.
I bet Elder Scrolls 6 is still on that same engine.
Oh, I almost guarantee it.
I bet
Almost
it
guarantee
is.
it. And I'm
If
totally,
dude.
I'll say full chest, and if I'm wrong, that's fine. Like
Mhm.
that's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like I'm totally fine with making bold, hateful claims, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I have no reason not to be boldly hateful towards you right now.
If it
Oh,
is,
I
I'll
totally
buy it on Steam and then put a bad review and then refund it. Just so I can do that.
sheer spite.
Oh,
Hey,
professional hater.
I got it. You got it for the love of the game.
Hey,
You insulted me for too long.
they're
Straight
insulting everybody, and it's so interesting because some people can really get away with it for so long. Like CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk came out, off with their head, devastation, take them off the store, completely fall from grace. Bethesda, come on, man. Like
They
now,
it's
granted, it wasn't as bad as Cyberpunk's, but it's like
And CD Projekt came back though. Like they made good of it. So they learned
right.
from the fuck up immediately. Yeah.
Immediately. That is the key to that whole thing. Whereas they just released the Oblivion remake, and I was watching one of the guys play it, and they're at like the Oblivion gate, and one goblin runs up, and it's like da 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 da. I'm like, dude, there's one goblin. Like you guys couldn't even have added a handful more to make
The
it.
nothing beats the mud crabs when that happens, dude. It's like a singular mud crab in a under the bridge, 50 feet down. It's like it's like
I'll say it
I'm
until
like,
I die. The fact that the word or the phrase Bethesda jank exists is it I hate it. I don't have words for it. I'm stuttering. I hate it so bad.
yeah, they got they what they're where they separate themselves from CD Project Red with that is that they hit their market was so broad, I should say. Or for lack of a better term, it's like Witcher, amazing game, very well made, acclaimed game. It didn't reach the audience that that game did, so it didn't have that nostalgic staying power. Like my sister still plays Skyrim. That's like her my nieces play Skyrim. It's like kids and people that don't really play modern games, which it's like, April was the one I was telling you, got me into Resident Evil. She's been playing games since like the 64 Super Nintendo. She had like a Game Gear, like all that stuff. She had all the stuff. She's really who got me into gaming to begin with. But she doesn't play modern games for the most part. It's like she still plays Skyrim. So they had a broader audience of less critical people looking at their stuff. So it's like they could get away with it. Whereas Witcher caught the eye of, moderate to higher level gamers for, as much as I hate to be like gamer,
yeah,
but
a
it's
more
like,
hardcore audience.
yeah. So a more hardcore audience. So things we weren't going to let things slide. We were going to be more critical. And, I'm a firm believer of it. It's as much as it hurts. I've taken this mentality more towards gaming, but it's a mentality I have towards a lot of things where it's like, you have as much goodwill as the last good thing you did for me. If you fuck up, I'm going to tell you fucked up. I'm not going to completely write you off for the most part, but I'm going to analyze the elements of it as if you've never done anything good for me. And if I find your reasoning behind why these things happened, if I find you wanting, then yes, that's 100% going to determine the way that how much leniency I give you and how I view you in the future. If it's like, why is this bad? Oh, there were some issues like Cyberpunk. It's like overall, Cyberpunk was a good game. It performed like shit. That was the biggest thing. It was the performance issues. And it's like, okay, now if it performed like shit and then the game got fixed and I found out like they made a half-baked product, like if there was a bunch of other gameplay related issues, the characters were boring, the story was boring, the progression was boring, there was no variation between the classes. It's like, okay, now you have now it's like I'm inclined. I'm not no longer inclined to believe that you made an issue with optimization. Now I'm inclined to believe you didn't give a shit, and that's where it gets to being, as Vaughn said, insulting. You're insulting me. You're believing that
Yeah.
I'm not analytical enough to look at this product and view it in an analytical light and get to the bottom of what I believe the root cause to be. Which, if I determine that's because you think I would eat your slop and not raise issue with it, you are wildly fucking incorrect. I will not just eat your slop.
Yeah,
I will go somewhere else.
It's the difference between exactly what Vaughn said. They immediately made good on it. Bethesda has no intention on making good on it for 14 years now. 14 years. Let's even take FromSoft. Dark Souls 2, people didn't really care about, except Adrian. He loves it. But they immediately corrected course with Bloodborne into Dark Souls 3, into Elden Ring, blah, blah, blah. And now you have like Elden Ring Night Rain, which is a good game. It's a good game. Not fully for me, but it is a good game. And then Shadow of the Erd Tree, you messed up with the difficulty. Am I going to write you off completely like you're saying? No, but it is like, I'm paying attention to the difficulty next time. Like, please don't let this become a thing.
Right.
Don't let this become your standard difficulty because you stubbed your toe that morning and said, turn the dial up.
Right.
But you can tell that they care.
Exactly.
Whereas I can feel Bethesda knows, well, they want to, however you want to take this, they know that their demographic is their demographic. Let's just put it that way.
They know they'll buy it. It's similar to a Nintendo, scenario where Nintendo is not in the same realm as Bethesda in terms of putting out slop, but they are in the same realm that they know their audience and what they'll buy, and they're putting it out there for them to buy. But maybe Bethesda will get it right with the next iteration of Skyrim that they put out on fucking breathalyzers. The Skyrim Take a Deep Breath edition.
Oh, good, you're awake.
All right. Well, that one went off the rails, but I think there was a lot of
that was good.
Anti-Bethesda sentiment that needed to be vented.
They're not the only ones. It's just
they're
the highest profile out.
Yeah, everybody can get it. I mean, it's one of those things where they'll set the standard, and I don't want that to be the standard. So they need to be chopped down. So as a message, put that head on a pike. So a message to those who come after that's not acceptable.
Yeah,
not really.
I mean, they've faded into obscurity for me. I really don't ever think about Bethesda ever.
No.
Ever.
So, all right. Well, we'll move on to the second question that we have going. This one was mine. Do you think the usage of AI in game development should be considered acceptable? And as a caveat, like, do you think it's dependent on studio size, like a single man indie dev team or a large studio? Large studios have a bigger access to skill pools and obviously financial pools, so they can draw in more talent and do that. And do you think it's like dependent on application? So like AI, using AI to generate the actual dialogue, the actual art assets of the game, code even. Just looking for thoughts on that. I know that's a big thing with a lot of people, especially. I mean, I think it's still going on for the most part, but I know last year, 2 years ago, it was a huge thing where anybody caught using AI, they were trying to crucify them like they were, essentially like they were. It's like, oh, you're stealing money out of the mouths of artists. It's like you're acting like these guys are foreclosing on their homes and kicking them to the curb. So, Brandon, did you start last one? So we can start with Vaughn.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear your guys' take on this before I go.
Okay.
Yeah, I can start. I think we're all in the same realm with being kind of mixed on AI in general, not specifically with games. I
Oh,
know
and AI.
at least with me, my current employer is going to go big on AI, so I already have that negative aspect on my conscience. And then we're seeing AI videos left and right with living and dead people and scenarios that just would never exist, racism, homophobia, all that crazy stuff, Sora videos, ChatGPT. So it's already painting negative pictures for AI as a whole.
I saw a Martin Luther King Jr. Malcolm X rap battle the other day.
Yeah,
That was something special.
yeah, we're getting into some weird realms.
The way he jumps in.
In terms of game development, I think there are positives and negatives with this. I I don't want AI to be used in game development for art generation because it's pulling art from other art to make new art, and
Mm,
that's kind of uh, pulling away from the core joy of art in itself, the creation. It's
mm,
dehumanizing the thing that is purely human, which is art. Uh, in the in the grander scheme with game development, I think AI is good for like data analytics and looking at various data points that might just be too grand for human beings to comprehend in a short development time span. And by that I mean, let's say it's a multiplayer game and you need to compare various stats to tweak something. Like instead of going through every single player's stats, you could have AI like pull all this and be like, "Hey, what did these players do at this point in the match? Were they doing X, Y, and Z? And if they weren't, what can we do about that?" And then it gathers all that and gives it to you. That type of element of AI in game development, I'm all for because that's efficiency. That's not pulling away from human acts. But in terms of code, like generating code, I think it's also beneficial there. Uh, in terms of, let's say something's just broken, like there's a bug. Bethesda, take a cue on this. That they just can't figure out, throw some AI on it and see like, hey, what piece of the code is breaking right here? Pulls it up, be like, oh, that's right, I put a period here instead of a comma, and then you fix it. Like things to make human jobs better, I'm all for AI. But when it's replacing 13 people that were doing hard and good work just so you can cut the salary of those 13 people, get the fuck out of here. Like that's
Does
terrible.
I just want to? So let's say, like the multiplayer thing you were saying, instead of going through each individual thing, you have the AI say, "Hey, what was the problem?" Wouldn't that be replacing those 15 people assigned to the task to figure that out?
no. So could
No.
I jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, no, yeah.
I wanted to actually make a comment on that, which that's actually a great application for AI because that's the kind of stuff that's done through surveys. Okay, so like stuff like that, it's like trying to figure out who's doing what at what times, using certain things at certain times. That's the kind of stuff you would do through surveys. Usually, they just grab a pool of people playing the game and ask them. It's generally unpaid, and generally not. There's no assigned position for that. Like it'd be essentially like I said, you're putting out, you grab a pool of people, you put out a survey, and then literally anybody in the building can compile those and then present those in like a report. It's not a skilled job to do. not to say that's not necessary, but it's not like a job that anybody in the building can do that. The secretary at the front desk can compile, get 100 written emails and then bring them to you. The AI just honestly, the AI would allow for more accurate results because it would kind of skip, like you would have to grab from a pool. You could just get the raw data. You would just be getting straight raw data. So, anytime most companies of any kind are trying to get a temperature gauging of certain things, they use a sample size, and it's as accurate as it can be. Maybe 1,000 people, but you're talking 1,000 people out of hundreds of thousands of people playing the game. So the sample size is realistically very small and relatively flawed. The AI would allow you to get a more accurate sample size, and it realistically wouldn't be impacting anybody's employment or anything like that. So that would be a circumstance in which I think you could apply it without any moral dilemmas.
And to add to that, another example would be like, well, let me preface this. It could even increase the number of jobs that you are providing to people, in the sense of, let's say you hire more QA, and let's say let's say Battlefield 6 didn't come out yet, and you want some good solid multiplayer data for various matches. You throw 50 QA people playing like 10 matches, and then instead of having one person that is probably already doing another job in the company going through each one of these matches and looking at tiny subsets of player data, you could have the AI look at all the data and pull what you want. So you could essentially have more playtesting with the time that you cut out by using the AI to gather data that you want, instead of having a human being go through every piece of data and pulling, maybe not the most accurately, like Adrian said, in the most accurate way, and help your development time.
So this is where I start to get like conflicted, I guess, because I totally see the efficiency and the logic behind it. But then I started thinking, like, art, what makes art cool is the flaws. And having a human go through that and possibly miss that period, miss that comma, that's kind of what makes it to a degree. If you get what I mean? Like, having people there and it's a human endeavor. Because the first thing that's going to go is going to be the lowest common denominator. And then the AI is going to evolve, and we're going to figure out a way to get the second least important person. And it's going to just keep evolving until Lord only knows.
It 100% is a slippery slope. Like, the reality, in my opinion, of it is we are at the mercy of essentially the moral compass of multimillionaires, if not billionaires, and the only thing keeping them at bay is the attentiveness of the consumer. This wouldn't even be a discussion if they thought we would be okay with it. We wouldn't even be having this discussion. It would just be a thing. Most of the studios would be replaced with artificial intelligence. They'd be pumping out games left and right. That's just what it would be. And that's why these discussions are important, because essentially, even though we're a small scale, we are setting the boundaries for what we would deem acceptable. And then this allows other people, even if it's a small opinion here and a small opinion there, this allows us to kind of draw that line in the sand and really say there are certain things that we're willing to budge on for the sake of efficiency, and that makes sense. But there are certain things that we're not willing to cross. And I'm totally okay with, normally I'm a fairly logical person, but it is when it comes to art. I think that's one of the things that needs preserving. And using an example, it is AI on like a smaller scale. And this is just because I cherish education. Look how fucking stupid everybody became when predictive text started being a thing. Mm-hmm. No one can fucking spell.
Comprehend.
throw in text messaging and all that, which, and I'm not saying I'm some fucking old head who doesn't believe in the future, but
I write my girlfriend letters with calligraphy ink daily.
right, like, but I'm perfect example is like communication skills are in the shitter. We are more connected than we've ever been, and we are further apart than we've ever been. And it's like I still remember when you were staying with me and we were trying to order pizza, and I think me and you went to go get beers, and the girls were at home, and they didn't order pizza because the app was down, and they didn't want to call because they were scared to talk to somebody over the phone. They were scared to call the business and give the business money. That's the thing the business wants you to do. It's like, I sure hope he's not upset when I call him. That's what he's there for. He's hoping you call him. He's begging for it. He's literally wants you to do it. He's no happier than when you are handing him your money.
Yeah, and just,
So
sorry, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
it's yeah.
I'll finish. And it's to kind of piggyback off that. It's another line we're crossing of how do we not involve people? How can we just shave more and more people? And then it becomes, this is where the duality becomes. If I'm a business owner and I'm using AI, who are you to tell me what parts of AI I'm allowed to use? What do you, I mean,
and that,
do I list off like, hey, I used AI for Q&A, but I didn't use it for art, but I did use it for a little bit of writing? How do you credit that? How do you list that? How do you advertise that?
It's one of those things where I've talked about it before on similar subjects or subjects that it's like, well, how do you know? It's like, to be perfectly honest, this is one of the few circumstances I'm okay with witch hunting style tactics. It is what it is. The outrage that is demonstrated by you doing anything that even like if there's a question on whether or not you're using it, you're fucked. So you need to make it abundantly clear that you're not, or there's going to be. But it sucks, and it's like, and here's my thing though, that
witchcraft John Proctor.
Oh well, but and it's funny because I talk to Stretch about this all the time. We're saying this like, or at least I'm saying it like, oh yeah, I I don't want to essentially start a witch hunt. You know who doesn't give a fuck about any of that, and you know who always gets their way? The PC community. They don't give a flying fuck. When Epic was like, hey, you need to use our launcher. Mind you, this launcher wouldn't have changed anything. Wouldn't have done a fucking thing. They just didn't want to download a new launcher. They just wanted to do everything through Steam. Epic turned that ass right back around. And they're like, never. We were kidding, guys. It was a joke. They were like, we will fucking bankrupt you. I will never buy another one of your products. And they do it. They do it every time. Every time the PC community is fed up with some bullshit, as a community, they're like, we will fucking ruin your life. Look at Steam. Steam got rid of porn games. The PC community didn't even, for the most part, probably care about it. But you want to know what they didn't like? They didn't like fucking being told what to do. So they were like, we can get fucking crazy. We'll get hectic out here. We'll make a problem out of this. And they were like, oh, everybody fucking, all right, everybody calm down. Everybody fucking chill. It's all that, but and that's one of the things where it's like, yeah, I talked to him about it because I'm like, you know what? My views on it have changed over time because I was one of the first people that's like, I don't want to throw baby out with the bathwater, but it's like they get their way and they rightfully so. We're the consumer. I'm not saying the consumer is always right, but when it comes to certain things like that, it's like you can't let multi-billion-dollar companies do whatever they please all the time. And they go, what are we going to do? What they do, what the PC community does consistently and has done consistently over their entire thing. They get up in arms and shit happens or doesn't happen. However, whatever way is good for them is generally how it gets down. So, but my overall thing with, my initial point was it, this is I try to avoid slippery slope fallacies where it's like, oh, well, it could, but we've seen it time and time again. And art is one of those, like you said, it's a uniquely human thing. And all stuff that, all over application of AI and stuff like that does is blunt human beings. It's blunted our ability to communicate. It's blunted our ability to express ourselves. And art is the greatest form of expression. So once you start putting, once you start taking the humanity out of that, it's some very, I don't want to be dramatic, but it's very dystopian esque um, possibilities with that. It's because you could, and people could say it's extreme take, but you've seen it. Like I said, you've seen it. People,
Yeah,
the
for
ability
sure.
the ability to communicate, the ability to cope with difficulties of life, the ability to fucking spell, comprehend, read, all of that has taken a sharp nosedive since the introduction of technology and predictive technologies in learning and communication. It's
And
it's it's demonstrated to be a thing.
I think your worries, Brandon, are valid because I think a lot of people are worried about that. But I don't want to simplify, but it really comes down to making the decision on how you want to use it. Like we could get to the dystopian, terrible avenues that you described, and it go all to shit. But it takes the specific leaders to be like, no, we're going to use it this way that doesn't impact human beings' livelihoods, and that's how we're going to do it. Uh, it's the giant corporations that don't give a shit about everyone below them and just want to cut costs with AI is where we start to get into that future that you described of where's the line? Well, the line is where we, the people that created the AI, put it. And those people need to put it in a spot that is not where it could destroy. And the worry is that people aren't going to put that line down, and that's the sad part is that we don't know who those people are.
Well, ultimately, we create the line, and
Yeah,
I that's why I bring up the PC example. And if anything, the last 5-6 years has demonstrated there is no such thing as too big to fail. There is no such thing as too big to fail. And that's why I'm saying like the witch hunting tactics. That yeah, we can't stop somebody from doing it. They can do it, but it's like if you do it and it's decided that your product is no longer going to be purchased, if we build up a strong enough sentiment in the community against that kind of behavior, yeah, somebody might try it, but if we do it right, somebody will only try it once, and then that message will get sent when they go out of business or are forced to apologize or take a massive hit. You know, that's we yeah, there we
yeah.
we draw the line, and yeah, they can still decide to step over that line, but it's the reaction upon them stepping over that line. Maybe they don't, but there's usually always somebody that does, and it falls on our responsibility as consumers to make sure that the consequences for stepping over that line are such that no one wants to. Smaller studios can't handle that kind of backlash, and bigger studios don't want to deal with it.
The gaming community is just really bad about voting with their wallet, and I hope the breaking point is at the bare minimum AI as we described it in the hellscape that it could be. Uh, so
Tell you, man, PC community, we got to take notes. I think, yeah, I think the big issue falls with the accessibility of gaming to everybody, and I love that gaming is, mind you. I'm not trying to be some fucking gatekeeper for video gaming. That's not it. But it is the console community tends to be less hardcore than the PC community, and they're willing to buy. They're willing to consume. They're willing to hold them to less standards, practices
when you're dropping
than.
2K on a graphics card, I'd be pissy
Like,
too.
but exactly, but they get their way
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
They have not taken an L. Not in my recollection. Like not a full, like not They never had to hold an L. Like the motherfucker might throw an L at them, it hits him in the face. They look down, they look back at them, and they go, "Pick that shit the fuck up, put it in your back pocket, get this shit out of my face." It's like, I'm so sorry, sir. You have a nice day. It's like, yeah, turn your dumb ass around and get out of here. But I think they're an example to aspire to. And I think if more people saw the power that they could have with that, I think that'd be enticing. People are like, "Oh, I don't want to get up in arms," but it's like, yeah, but that guy gets up, and it's like being at it's like as much as I hate to use the comparison, it's like a fucking Karen at a restaurant. It's like a lot of people start having problems with their food when you realize you might get some free mozzarella sticks out of this shit. I'm just saying, you start showing people it's like, hey, the PC guys are getting everything they want, and it's because they're bitching. People might start to bitch a little more. They rightfully should.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I am really hoping that with just the tension of all things going on, that people start getting, what would be the word, radically. If you're doing something anti-consumer, there's nothing to talk about. I'm not buying it, straight up.
Well, and
that's
like
you say one thing, because it's not like we're not oversaturated with tons of good stuff. People that are being, operating within integrity at a high quality. So don't come at me with your nonsense. I do want to add, to go back to kind of like the core of the question, and I'm just playing kind of devil's advocate to myself and the conversation as a whole. When it comes to like ChatGPT or whatever, you're pitching, you're putting your ideas in, and like you were saying, it's pulling from different arts to create the thing. Is that not kind of what the creative process is as a whole, though? It's like, hey, I like the style of this, I like the look of that, I like the thing of this, and then I bring all that together, and now I've made my thing.
It's different when it's not being credited in any possible way, and it's not regulated, and it's literally adapting someone else's artwork and forming it into something else. Like if you like the look of Mario and you drew someone in a similar art style but not Mario, then that's different. Mm-hmm. But if you're pulling an image of Mario and then just altering it without giving any credit to that artist, then that's wrong.
That's what the AI is doing. It's literally taking Mario and then distorting that exact image. It's not, because I was watching interviews with Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman, and he was talking about how he was really inspired by 70s noir films for the Batman, and how a lot of the shots are shots from movies he loved, where it's like the camera's mounted on the truck or on the car or on the motorcycle, and he was like, yeah, I was kind of paying homage to those scenes. Right. And I just kind of was
thinking, and that's it's a fine line with that stuff, like paying homage and copying,
ripping.
There can be a fine line with that, and
right.
Obviously, being a different, almost entirely genre makes it easier to not, essentially be plagiarizing in a sense.
That's not even taking into account like voice actors and their voices being pulled from various sources.
So that's a huge
manipulated.
That's
hard now.
Yeah, that's
hard now.
Yeah, that's a hard line that I'll put out there.
I think there's like a obvious what's straight up no go. I think it's those more ambiguous things where the conversation should be kind of had.
And I'm a firm believer of, and then it goes along with what I've been saying. I think making a very clear showing of how far we're willing to go is what's good, because there's always going to be a habitual line stepper. Somebody is going to try to find a loophole. Somebody is going to try to find a way to sneak around it. Somebody's going to try to find out, if you look at it this way, there's always going to be that guy. And for me, it comes down to, it just needs to be very fucking clear that there will be extreme retribution. And that's where, when it comes to like smaller studios, that's where it's like, I think the question gets a little muddied for me, which is why I kind of included that part. Because it's like, if you're a one-man studio, and you're, let's say you're you're great at coding, you know, and you have a great idea, but you aren't an artist. You know, you're not an artist. You can't draw. You know, you can't afford to pay someone to draw for you. It's like, I don't want to tell that guy he can't create if there's tools that will allow him to create with his limited skill. He has an idea, but it's like myself. It's like I like to try to draw, but it's like what's in my head and what hits that paper are two fucking different things. And it's like, I don't think it's right to tell him he can't make something. It's like, oh well, you can make a game when you have enough money to pay an artist. It's like, that's kind of fucked. Like he can make a game, he can make a serviceable product with what he has available to him right now.
I think it's
So
where
I think
transparency comes into play too, like being
right.
outright be like, hey, I used AI to do this and this,
And
instead of
and I think
people
that's
being like internet detectives and being like, this finger is looking super weird, and then the company coming out and being like, yeah, we did use AI. Like if you put that out
yeah.
there, people are less spiteful.
Well, and that just comes with the size thing too, where
Yeah.
it's like I'm tired of studios, you know, acting like they relate to other people. It's like a larger studio. I'm just not going to hear that shit. I'm
No.
just not. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to listen to fucking Bethesda
Yeah.
or EA.
Ubisoft with 4,000 employees. Shut up.
Right. You couldn't hire some artists. You couldn't hire some voice actors. I'm not trying to hear that. But Ted wanted to make a game in his basement. He made it very clear. He said exactly what I said. I'm not an artist. I can code and I can make music.
Those are going to be the people that it comes down on the hardest as well, because they're
Right.
easy little
Which
targets.
and that's going to be where it's like it sucks because it's going to be definitely a dangerous game. It'll be a slippery slope, but it's like, you know, I don't want the witch hunt to come from them, but there might be fucking collateral. But I
That's
I'd much
yeah.
it sucks, but it's, I
No,
mean,
yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
the world's not a perfect place. You know, that there is a very high chance that some of those guys might catch strays, but I'm also not going to let. I would. That sucks to say it. I hate to have it even come out of my mouth, but it's like I would rather a couple of those guys take a couple black eyes than let multi-billion-dollar companies essentially destroy art and dictate who gets to make art. And like, because they're the ones setting the standard, whether we like it or not. They set the standard. If we allow them to set the standard, then and if that's the standard they set, we're fucked.
Mm-hmm. I think what you said about being forthcoming about it helps dramatically. Because maybe I have a tinfoil cap on with this. I am totally under the impression that maybe 15% of things we hard believe are true have been AI for the last 10 years. Like, I don't believe, dude, I've seen some AI videos that are indistinguishable from reality.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like, okay, so these are just fun videos on YouTube. They've had this technology.
Oh yeah.
Dude, movies have looked incredible for years. You mean to tell me you can't distort a little video, like a security cam, make it blurry and say, that's the reality of what just happened, and now just put that on the news or whatever? It's like, so it just, I don't know. I'm wondering how, because I agree with you. I do think there probably should be some aspect of witch hunt mentality, especially with the big corporations. So I guess it would have to be a double standard. Like, do we hold, because let's say you have an indie studio, it's two guys. We're okay with you using AI because you're two little guys. But now your game blows up and now you're 20 guys. But remember, we're the AI guys. And then before you know it, they're the big guys now. Do they then get their AI privileges revoked because you're too big? Like, it's so,
I mean, and it's
nebulous to
well, I
how
mean,
it would
it's
work.
the problem is the whole thing is a matter of opinion, nebulous thing, where it's like we're talking about, oh, I don't like it because it takes the humanity aspect out of art. All of that is subjective. All of that is entirely subjective. Somebody could completely disagree with our are, you could say AI is a human invention. It's technically the culmination of a lot of human ideas, you know, refined into a artificial thought process. Like, and I'm not saying these are my opinions, but
No,
it's
I
like
know. Yeah. Yeah.
there is going to be, certain levels of double standards. There is going to be certain differences in opinions on how this thing is going to go down, and it may never go down the way that we think it is. Maybe it's just like the whole idea,
Yeah. It's
people
not.
write it off. I don't think that's going to be the case, but
Right.
it is going to be very subjective. I do think there's not there that what you just described is going to happen. I don't think there's going to be any definitive studio size that is going to be able to be set. There is always going to be someone that's going to be like, oh well, they don't really have enough guys, or they were way too big, 20 guys ago. But I do think that is. I don't really think it's a double standard, because I feel like for a double standard you have to be on equal footing to have a double standard, and that's just not the case. A multi-billion dollar studio and a one-man operation are different. They're different than a 20-man operation, but you have to compare it based on what they're doing. And it's tough, because it's like, what if a 20-man studio is trying to make a big scale game, and so like a lot of it is AI based? Do I get to tell that guy, oh, you got to tone it, you got to scale it down? Well, I want to make a big game. Well, you got to scale it down. Like, you're a 20-man studio, but you try to make a bigger game. If you use
Right.
AI,
And
this much AI, then you're
this
one of those
is
guys.
right. And this is why, because most of the stuff that I'm even throwing out there is really just questions and devil's advocate to my own thoughts, because I really
That's
overall
good.
don't know how I feel about it. Because ultimately, I mean, the genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah.
It's you can't really stop it. So, and it's too powerful of a tool to not use.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? And I guess maybe the only solution is what Vaughn said, is being forthcoming. Put it on the front of the box, on the front of the advertisement. AI was used in the development of this, and you can take that as you want. So if you see that on the cover and you go, what did you use in AI? That's when you start researching your product, because I feel like that's just the era we're in. You got to research your product. Who's making my stuff? Blah blah whatever. Because turns out you might be some people I don't want to support. So get your listing. Boom. I guess that's maybe the only solution is being forthcoming. Like you said.
And I feel, and I agree. For example, there's a big thing going on in like the Warhammer community on YouTube, where a lot of AI lore channels are popping up. I don't listen to them. Like, I refuse to listen to AI lore channels. I think it's incredibly lazy. It just is what it is. Some people don't mind it
either.
I don't like it.
The voice annoys me.
Right. And for me, it's like the minutia of it. It's like the small shit that they say that don't make any sense, or that is just not how things are said.
Titus ran across the battlefield, sword in hand. Okay.
Well, it's like, and it's like, oh, he was breathing heavy, and it's like he was breathing heavy. It's like, I don't like that. But it is like, I don't do it. There's nothing you can do, but it's like, I have more respect for channels that say that they are AI voice generated up front than me clicking on it. And then it's like, I start to hear the fucking voice, and it's like, wasted my time even clicking on this, because it's that. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I can say from that small amount of personal experience that there's a considerably less ire towards people that are forthcoming with it. Hey, that's fine. But it's like, when I see channels that are going out and doing the research, because really all these people are doing is essentially going and getting either the digital book or finding a wiki, and then slapping that into a script and having it read. And it's like, so these motherfuckers are putting out an hour to 2 hour long lore videos, and a actual real person going and looking into the lore up, reading the lore, and giving you a rendition of the lore might have a 20-minute video, and it's like, yeah, am I getting less content? Yeah. Would I much rather get less than essentially reward you for just slapping something, taking something from the wiki and putting it into a fucking doc and having AI read it? Yeah, I'd much rather go with the other guy because I don't like that. But no, with that, I can essentially my point is I can agree. There's a level of screw you when you waste my time by, and that's in a small YouTube encounter that I get for free.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to purchase a product and spend real money on it, and yeah, we're gonna have we'd have a problem. You know, obviously depending on the amount and type of usage, but it's like if I find out it's some AI slop, like Lord help you if I hear AI voices in my fucking game. Lord help.
Right.
If
Yeah.
I purchase a game for any amount of money and there is AI voices in the game, because I will flip a shit.
Yeah.
But that's one of the ones where it's like if that shit happens, there absolutely needs to be people like, don't buy that game. Don't buy that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's that. Yeah. For sure.
All right. Well, I feel like there's tons that we can go in on that, but I think we've explored that to the extent that we can for the time being. We're already at almost the 2.5 hour mark, so keep this pushing. The final topic for discussion that we have today, we had another question, but with the recent trailer for the Halo release on the the PlayStation platform, we wanted to get everybody's thoughts and feelings. How do we like it? How are we feeling about this whole thing? Um, I mean, I can go, you can go, whoever wants to go. We had Vaughn and Brandon go, so
Um,
all right. I'm super fucking pumped. I hate, hate exclusivity. I understand why people did it, past tense. But I think now, thankfully, Microsoft is like, okay, we really don't give a shit about this console war. Finally getting games. Halo was like one of the first FPSs that really got me into playing modern quote unquote FPSs. Playing it on the Xbox. It's one of the first games I ever purchased with my own money. And I just think that series deserves more eyes. It deserves more people on it. I have a buddy Corey. He's a huge Halo fan. I'm a huge Halo fan. That game has so much potential, so much lore. I think introducing it to a wider audience and getting it off of a platform that in reality didn't, they didn't even really appreciate their own platform in general, let alone the IPs on it. I think that is going to give that game a much, much needed resurgence that hopefully will give it, give it a second chance at life. I was talking to him about it today and pointed out the fact that some of the greatest Halo titles had nothing to do with Master Chief. And not that I don't like Chief as a character, but I think that, opening it up to a new audience will open it up to new storylines that take place because the lore in that game is incredibly rich. I think that will kind of grease the wheels on being like, hey, let's explore this property more. There's more conflicts, there's more characters, there's so much more to this whole thing than just Chief. Because I think that's part of that game's problems is stagnated because it was, how can we talk about Chief more? How can we talk about Chief more? How can the story have more to do with him? It's like ODST and Reach didn't have shit to do with Chief, and they were incredible stories. ODST are normal human beings. I know it felt like Halo, but ODST was normal human beings and highly trained, but normal. And it was completely different, story than, you are the Chief running around an unstoppable killing machine. So I'm incredible. I think it looks fantastic. Obviously, it goes without saying. Um, yeah, I'm super pumped for this. I think I've hated the console war thing since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I think one of the top comments on the trailer that I watched was like, "This is a moment in gaming history," and I think that is entirely accurate. The Halo coming to, I know Gears, but in terms of the big dogs, Halo is like Godfather level of game.
Yeah.
And that was Xbox's flagship title forever. And it's like it's just truly um it's just truly sending a message. So I'm incredibly pumped about this.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate the title. Campaign Evolved is terrible. Call it Combat Evolved. What are we doing? I hate that. But that's neither here nor there. I actually think, because maybe I'm just using my own kind of personal experience, but I grew up on PlayStation. Then PS3 was like, hey, this is going to cost $10,000. So I was like, well, I guess I'm getting an Xbox. So then I got an Xbox. Once PlayStation came around, it was more affordable. I went back to PlayStation. It really wouldn't surprise me if Halo coming back or like coming over to PlayStation, you're going to get a huge core of those audience that have moved on from Xbox to PlayStation and have been waiting. Because I know I'm going to play Halo. Yeah, you're going to play Halo. Yeah, I guarantee a dramatic number of people fall into that camp of, Xbox kind of just hasn't been doing it for the last 10 years, so I had to move on. I mean, it is what it is. I'm
a consumer, baby.
Yeah, like I love PlayStation. Right. I love PlayStation to death, but like if they started to suck, I like games before brands. So like wherever the games are is where I'm gonna go. So, and I also had a theory that I hope is coming true. We'll see what happens with Gears Emergence Day, but with them doing a Halo 1 reboot, specifically the campaign, they're not necessarily going for the multiplayer splash. I'm almost wondering if it's like, hey, we're trying to bring Halo back into the culture on a real level with PlayStation and put big bucks behind it.
Well,
really, because like what you're saying with lore and story, it's like Halo has a good story and good lore. And PlayStation fans like that stuff. They like story. They like lore. It like, ironically, Halo fits better on PlayStation in a really crazy roundabout way at this time.
For years, Halo Xbox was the shooter console.
Yeah.
That was, and it was shooters didn't need lore. And I think part of like stuff like Gears getting more lore was partially because of PlayStation games. Xbox, it was trying to keep up with PlayStation, and like, man, maybe we should make more interesting character driven stories. And so part of that problem was they were trying to tack on stories where there really was never intended to be stories, and it just kind of felt half baked, where Halo doesn't have that issue. And it could be my bias, but I don't think it is, because Corey is a huge Halo fan. Every day he's like ordering like crazy Halo memorabilia. Like he has, like a room full, like he's got like at least 2 like life-size Master Chief stands and shit. He just sent me a picture today of him. He bought like a Halo edition green original Xbox with the Xbox controller. I'm pretty sure he's got like a life-size replica assault rifle. He's got a ton of shit. He's definitely got an energy sword. Like he's got a lot of cool shit. But he's really got me into the lore, and it's not surface level. It's deep, good, well-written lore. I mean, there's books. There's books about like bunch of books. There's a couple movies. TV show didn't happen. I will absolutely just burn that out of my mind. They made it take off his helmet many times. It didn't happen. Let's just say that it's not a real thing. But yeah, that is something that, like, I think you're entirely right. I won't say we, but just PlayStation in general caters to more story-driven games, And I think there is 100% just meat you could sink your teeth into. You don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to figure it out. It's there. You just got to act on it. And like I said, it's already been proven that you can go off the Master Chief storyline and do other storylines. So it's like, some people be like, oh, well, that's a good, really, good tidbit, but it doesn't involve the flagship character. It's like, no, the other games have shown that you can absolutely explore scenarios that don't involve Chief and people will show up. Like I said, Halo Reach and Halo ODST are considered two of the best games out of the entirety of the Halo series, and
Reach is my favorite.
They have nothing to fucking do with Chief.
Yeah, Reach is my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's a great game, but it's you don't have to ride Chief's coattails. It's just it's been you can absolutely take a chance, which it's not even a chance, and just explore a different side of the conflict.
It's like Star Wars in that sense. Like, it doesn't always got to be about a Skywalker.
Right.
Like, same. It's a galaxy far, far away, not a singular man far, far away.
Right. Same like I talked about last time with Warhammer. It's huge. So you can go to anywhere, any world. A lot of characters you read about in that specifically, which that lore is way deep. So, but even so, it's just a prime example. It's like, dude, half those books are about fucking. Not half of them. Every other book is about a completely different fucking person. You have no clue on a world you've never heard of. It's like, it's good. If it's good, it's good.
On a quick tangent, not tangent, it's about this, but what do you think the possibilities are of Microsoft just straight up letting Sony get in bed with development on a new Halo? And getting a Sony studio involved.
High percentage. I think.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like Microsoft has wanted to go the Sega route for years, and just license IPs, and I think that's what they should do. They don't want to do it. They don't want to be part, and I'm fine with them not wanting to be a part.
I'm totally okay with them being the biggest publisher. I think that's sick. Like, shout out to them for getting Ninja Gaiden, however you say it, and.
Microsoft making video games is the same as it would be just as silly as using them also. It would be as silly as Microsoft making fucking like computers instead of putting Windows on all the computers. They're like, we want to make our own. Why? Like, and I get it. Like, they've been doing the Xbox things for years, but I think they had the same realization. They were like, how the fuck are we doing this? This is stupid. like they put Windows on all the computers. They didn't make the computers, and they just banked out with realistically minimal effort. It's like you could do the same thing with games. And that way everybody has access to the games. You don't have to make a whole fucking console. You don't have to do any of this. You let everybody else do the work and you profit.
It'll definitely be nice to have, because I never played Halo 1. Does that one have multiplayer?
Halo 1 had multiplayer, yeah. I don't think it had online yet. I don't know. I'll be honest, because I was super young. That was like 2000,
okay,
7. So it's like I had no access to the internet, regardless. Okay. But Halo 1 did have multiplayer. It had local. I can tell you that. Whether it had any online, I know for a fact Halo 2 had.
Yeah, online. For sure. I remember Halo 2 being.
That's where it blew up, but I couldn't tell you for the life of me.
It didn't have online multiplayer.
No. Okay, so that's an interesting route for them to do a Halo campaign as the first time on PlayStation. It's respectful. It's honorable. It's, hey, we're not going to jump the gun. We're going to do the campaign because that's what, people here like for the most part. Everybody wants the multiplayer, obviously. But it almost gets you excited for, are you going to then drop just Halo 2 as a full-blown remake on PlayStation? That's very interesting. And then does that start tying in with, my mind starts racing. Does Sony start trying to make a Halo movie with them? Because the Sony movies have been, nothing's like a 10 out of 10 or nothing, but they've been successful and they've been solid. Like, they've been good. You know, they're not bad movies. Halo and Gears of War and a lot of games, it's unbelievable there aren't movies of these things that are quality, I should say.
Right. I mean, it's both of them right now are, as much as I think Halo has a much better chance of having a resurgence than Gears, but I think they're, as of right now, certainly past their prime. They could use a freshening up, and I think they could be fine. But no one's gonna. The show didn't, if the TV show can't really take off, I feel like TV shows are much easier to make successful than movies.
But it wasn't good though, right?
Correct.
It's like the Lord of the Rings thing. It's like Rings of Power. It's like it's not to say that Halo doesn't have resonance. Your friend is still buying statues of it and stuff, So it's like
that goes in a whole different realm though, because it's like the whole movie industry. I couldn't fucking tell you what they're thinking. I really can't. I cannot tell you what executives in TV and movies are telling you.
Freaky Friday
what
3.
They're thinking.
Come on.
I mean, just say I hate you. But just like I said in the beginning, dude, the Halo thing. It's like they had fucking Chief being. They tried to make Chief a completely different character than he was supposed to be in the show, and that's where I'm saying it's like I don't get it, because it's like that's so off base. Same with Rings of Power. What you're doing is so off base. I couldn't even begin to fathom what your thought process was with this production.
And that's why I'm wondering with Sony, I would hope Sony would be like, hey, get a Halo fan.
I guess I should ask.
Bored with this.
I guess I should ask because I didn't go see it. So how did you guys see the Uncharted movie?
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you guys think that was decent? I don't know. I have no perspective on it.
It wasn't incredible, but it was.
Well, if it pays respect.
The only thing I guess I wasn't in love with, I don't really like Mark Wahlberg as Sully, personally. Mark Wahlberg is just Mark Wahlberg and everything. Hey, I'm out of breath, and what's going on? Like, shut up. But
man, he should have been every character, like a, Christmas
and
clumps type of thing.
I was going in hating on Tom Holland, and what'd you say?
No, I was like saying he should fucking Mark Wahlberg should have been every character in that movie, like every Eddie Murphy movie ever. So it's just it's Mark Wahlberg.
It's Mark Wahlberg as Nadine.
Yeah, all
kissing himself.
Yeah, exactly. I can throw some dreads on that bad boy.
But yeah, I went in kind of hating on Tom Holland just because it's like, oh man, is Tom Holland about to be in here being Spider-Man? Like, hey guys, it's like that's not Nathan Drake. I'm not trying to hear that at all. Hey guys, I'm really nervous, but I'm confident. It's cute. No, it's not. But he was surprisingly
okay.
Yeah. Surprisingly okay. I wouldn't take an 7 out of 10. Long and short.
I can believe Mark Wahlberg as Sully more than Tom Holland as Drake.
I don't have any strong feelings about it either way, but
I didn't love. Maybe it's because I went in with such low expectations, wanting to hate, that I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't despise it.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. I think it's just Tom Holland. He just looks like an adolescent, man. It's just like
It's the same problem with what's her name from Last of Us, the show.
Yeah, just looks too young.
It's just bad. It's bad casting. But you can't. There's nothing you can do for bad casting. And I'm not saying bad casting. Like Tom Holland is a great actor. Whether I want to.
Overall, they put a movie star in there opposed to casting it properly.
Correct.
Same thing with Mark Wahlberg. They gave him a mustache at the end. It's like, okay. But who was that guy that did the fan film of Uncharted on YouTube? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The actor that played?
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion?
He's just Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that fan film is the only movie I need.
He
But
should be.
he's getting on the older side though, so you could still put him in an Uncharted movie at this point, like just put it at a more Uncharted 4 era of his timeline, and I'd still jump on that movie in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't know what makes me sadder, seeing characters in video games get older, or like seeing like actors that consistently play a character get older. You know what I mean? So it's like, even though Mark Hamill lost his mind, it's like watching Luke Skywalker get like
Did he lose
what?
his mind?
Yeah, he's out of his fucking mind. Watching Luke Skywalker get old makes me sad.
Who just played
But it's
Joker
like,
too long that he started
yeah,
taking on that personality.
but then it's like, watching Nathan Drake, like the actual character in the game, it's like, start to lose step. It's like, I don't know which makes, I don't know which one makes me sadder, because like one's a real person physically getting older, and the other one is a completely digital creation.
Probably, I get what you mean. Probably, I guess it could be either or, but I guess
It's
the
like
gaming
watching,
one hits me more just because it's not that they're getting old; it's that I'm getting old. It's
right.
like,
I think it makes you reflect on it even more. But it's
yeah.
like also that idealized human. It's like reading like Dark Knight Returns
Mm-hmm.
and seeing old man Batman, and you're like, holy fuck, dude.
And you're
You
like,
see,
how is Alfred still alive?
yeah, he's still doing his thing, but it makes me sad. And then I'm like, why is this imaginary? Why am I sad? Yeah, like you said, it's the yourself, because it like forces you to like analyze. So it's like, why am I sad that this imaginary character is getting old? And you're like, oh, because I'm getting older. And I realized that I've had this imaginary character in my life since I was wearing underwear with his face on it.
I guess I should voice my Halo
Yeah,
opinion too.
yeah, go ahead.
I have less history with Halo as a series. I've never owned an Xbox console. I've played each Halo as it came out with friends. I've never owned them myself, so I've never sat down and been intimate with that story and that character. Been intimate with that. Been intimate. So I don't have that legacy under my belt. I've lived by proxy with it, so I fully grasp it and understand the significance. But I'm more interested in the economics with it.
What do you mean?
It's interesting that they put out the first one when they have the collection out there. The garbage version that they originally released, that's probably semi better now, but to me, in my mind, it's, I know, Brandon, you said respectful earlier. It's respectful in the sense of giving PlayStation the ability to experience this. It's also interesting, and I don't want to say greedy because I don't know their logic behind it, but they're going to milk people for every dollar possible from this. Like, they're gonna put the first one, they're definitely gonna do the second one, and they're most likely gonna do the third one too. And that's just the base 3 games, which I then question how much you're gonna charge for this. It's probably gonna be full price. I don't think they would go the $40 route. And then because it didn't have multiplayer, are you gonna put out a multiplayer like free to play thing from the collection?
I think that's their route with that.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, because that's what they did for Reach and ODST. They just had Halo 3 multiplayer. Mm-hmm. So that's if they do that, I think that's why they're not doing that, is because in order for those games to be themselves within the campaign, they have to operate under Halo 1 and 2 mechanics, Halo 1, 2, and 3 mechanics. But realistically, for the sake of multiplayer, those mechanics are dated for 1 and 2. And technically you could argue 3, but if they are going to release a multiplayer suite, it's going to be with the most modern rendition of
Right.
the multiplayer suite, so it doesn't make sense to release them individually.
Yeah, I would imagine that there's probably a new Halo in the works that's going to launch day and date on PlayStation.
Mhm.
And right now they're just going to get campaigns out, do a full remake. Because based off that trailer, it looked like a good remake.
Well, they
It looked
just
high
had
quality.
there was just a massive lore update for Halo. Um, essentially the resurgence of the flood within the Halo fandom. So if they like what you're saying, there could be some credence to what you're saying because it is kind of such a big deal that you could 100% make a game based off of the resurgence of the flood. Essentially, they found the original flood grave mind. They called the primordial, and it's essentially heralding the resurgence of the flood in the galaxy. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were planning another game essentially about everything being normal and then the fucking flood being like, just kidding, you thought, nerd.
Yeah, I could totally see him probably just doing the trilogy. Probably not ODST, probably not Reach, probably not 4, probably not 5.
Definitely not 4, definitely
6.
not 5. I don't think they're going to do 4 and 5. I think they're
because yeah. So you do those 3. I guess it just also would depend on how full of a remake is this. Is this just the Oblivion style, or is this Resident Evil 2? Is this just a coat of paint?
Yes.
Yeah,
so?
I think it only needs a coat of paint because it's when you're marketing something. I don't know. I feel like Halo is being very much marketed off of the nostalgia of it. And that's where I was saying with like the multiplayer thing. I don't think they're, I think they're going to release a singular multiplayer suite that encompasses all the games. Mm-hmm. It'll probably be a live service type of deal that just continues on, and then they add stuff with the game's releases. But the games have to play like themselves.
Yeah,
they're marketing the authentic Halo 2, Halo 3 experience. If they give you something different than that, then they may as well just give you a different game. So it has to play like a new coat of paint in a retuned version. So just a little bit smoother, a little bit better, but it has to be the same shit. If I'm akimbo in Halo 1 with a Spartan laser, it fucks the whole game up because there was no akimbo, there was no Spartan laser. It's like I want the same weapons, the same abilities, the same all that, and that's what it's got to be, or it's a different Halo. You're just giving me a Halo mashup, and it kind of loses what it was.
Yeah, and what I meant by respectful was more so the Master Chief Collection. I think to this day is still busted.
Yeah,
and it's like if you're gonna do it right. And if that means doing one at a time, then do one at a time. Because what would be horrible is to put that thing out on PlayStation for the first time and it's broken. And then that's your reintroduction to try to bring Halo back and you completely fumble the bag.
Yeah.
Because it is not the same era.
Yeah, I actually made a joke to someone else about it'd be funny if they were putting the collection out before we learned about today's announcement. I'm like, it'd be funny if they put out the collection and it was just as broken as when it launched on their system. I'd be like, that'd be the final nail in the coffin of like, what are you guys doing? Like, you clearly don't know.
It's just, I do hope giving it to Sony, allows for that care, that TLC. I think Sony definitely understands the importance of the fandom. Like they understand that you make more money ultimately by putting in a little bit more effort. Obviously that's not always the case, but I think if anybody does understand it better out of the two, it's always been Sony, whereas Nintendo's not even in the consideration. They are just handing you the fucking mascot and going, buy it. It's got the mascot on it. They don't give a shit. I guess you can't really, get off base if you never change. So, but
And Microsoft's business model isn't working for them,
yeah,
clearly.
So,
and they know
like,
who's going to spend money, and it's on the PlayStation side. So
you have a real world example of, not catering to the fans, not working. And you have examples of your own titles, catering to the fans and working. Even games that, you some wouldn't like, but it's like, that your fans of your games, like God of War, show up for Kratos. They show up for God of War. So
Not
that,
anymore.
yeah, not anymore. That's what I was saying before. It's like they don't always do it, but they do have a proven track record of, if you do, they have proof that if they do right by the fans, they can profit. So hopefully they see the dollar signs with Halo, because it is a strong fan base. It is a very strong fan base. We are very much, at least me personally, I'm still very much in the camp of craving, a Halo
absolutely.
resurgence. Like because it's best, looking like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I want it to die. I don't care about it anymore, in the sense that I don't think Star Wars can be salvaged. And I'm not at that point with Halo yet. And that's where it's like, that's where you're saying, like, it's the make or break. There's almost nothing worse than apathy, because obviously if I like it, if I'm showing a lot of enthusiasm for it, there's a product that you can sell me. If I'm outraged, that means I still care about the product. I just want you to do it justice. If I'm apathetic, I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want with it. I care about something else now.
Right.
And I think the majority of Halo fans are in that boat, where we're not apathetic yet. We still have hopes for the series. There's still definitely some life left in that. It just needs to be given to somebody who wants to see that series thrive.
Yeah, I mean, Halo is one of the franchises that deserves respect. It deserves to be honored properly. And I've been saying it for years. There's still a hole in the market for Halo's style of first-person shooting with physics and all that stuff.
We had over a decade of Halo killers.
Yeah, and
none of them pulled it off.
Right. And, so like even in the instance of, like you're saying, I don't care anymore. I care about something else. It's like Lord of the Rings. They're just wreaking havoc on Lord of the Rings. And I will always love and always, hope for it. But at the same time, I'm borderline apathetic about it. It's like, I got the original trilogy. I care about other stuff now. I can't sit here and stay in this heartbreak with you guys. I don't care anymore.
Yep.
Because you've shown me over and over you don't care. So what do you want me just on the hook?
All right. I'm not doing that.
Moved on. Whereas Halo, even 4 and 5, they're not bad games. It's like, it's how I feel with the Jurassic Park movies, where you're giving me 1 to 2 good things, but the rest is bad. And I'm like, it would be better if you just got rid of the 2 good things so I could just not care anymore. But You're giving me just enough hope that there could one day be something that gets it right.
Right.
Because, if this is obviously not going to happen, but if they were to try to put Uncharted or God of War, like the original, on some other console, I would want them to do it right. Don't put all 3 God of Wars. Do a full-blown remake on the Switch or whatever, obviously. But do it right.
Agreed.
No, I think it's a fair ask.
We'll see.
With anything, it seems like a fair ask, but what you get and what you want, just two different
This
things.
game was generated fully by AI.
Cortana.
Jesus. Let's not talk about Cortana, okay? Never forget what they stole from us, brothers. I won't even talk about it. The jiggle physics. They stole it from us.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Isn't she a hologram?
So what's fucking important, Brandon? Okay, yeah. If that's the way you're going, it's like, well, isn't she just a hologram? Okay, then why is it a problem? She had a pair of tickle bitties, and then they put her in a full suit by Halo Infinite. What is this? What is this? What are we, Mormons?
I don't even know how to
Mormons.
even. I don't know. I have nothing for this.
Mormons versus the Flood. Who wins?
It was a whole thing, dude. And Cortana was a sexy hologram, and then people were like, "That hologram's too sexy." It's like, what are we doing here?
So crazy.
What are we doing here? Why do you don't hit me with that? Why do you care so much thing? Why do you care so much?
You always hear about gooners, and I used to work at a place.
You always hear about gooners.
You always hear about this stuff on the internet, and I'm always like, man, people really want their cartoons. But so at work one time, and this guy, he's like, oh yeah, I was playing whatever video game he said. I was like, oh, dude, you play video games? Cool. So we're always chopping it up about video games. This guy's gonna come up to me. He's like, yeah, man, I'm playing this new anime game. Look, the chicks look like this. And I'm like, what do you want me to how am I supposed to react to this? Like, are you hitting on me? Get away from me. I don't know what this is, dude. I don't care about this cartoon being naked, dude. Like, I don't.
Hey, man,
I don't know how to react to that.
Find him sexy, then why'd they draw him sexy?
Bam.
She has outlines. I don't know.
I mean,
each to their own, I guess.
You could have made her flat. That's all I'm saying.
All I care about is her end lines.
I wonder if 4-dimensional characters look at us like, oh.
I'd hit. I mean,
4-dimensional beat. Yeah.
If he was 4-dimensional,
yeah. Like, dude, 3D.
Oh, disgusting.
That's all I got.
About right.
It's probably about the right place to leave it.
Ended on gooners.
Gooners, and go to bed at night wondering if 4-dimensional beings find you sexy. I'm sure they do.
Keeps me up.
It keeps me really up.
Multiple ways. In intimate ways.
Oh man. I don't even know what 4-dimensional intimacy looks like, but I'd be willing to find out.
You're probably just like folding in and out of yourself. Like your skeleton and skin are flat. You know what I mean?
You're having sex across the plane of time. It's fucking aging. De-aging.
I'll have to give the black hole that consent then.
I think a black hole cares about consent.
The black hole's AI voice is Matthew McConaughey.
Jesus. All right.
It's necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm done.
End this madness. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Take care.
You too, man. Both of you guys.
Goodbye.
It's been a pleasure. Me.